Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heavily Altered Podcast, number 1, the first of its ever kind inception creation ever. The first
Definitely
ever.
not.
Definitely not the first one we've recorded, by far. For sure. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it's the first one we've done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ever.
Do you guys want to
Luke.
introduce yourselves? I'm Naimur.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah.
Luke.
and I'm Daniel. That's
No, you're
probably
not.
something good to do.
You're not Daniel.
Okay. And, yeah, so, this is we're just some college kids, freshmen in college, just,
We're
chilling.
barely college
you don't
kids,
have
if
to
we're being
dox
honest.
us, man. You don't
Yeah,
have to
I mean, it is
dox
the end
us
of first
like that.
semester.
You don't have to
Yeah,
dox
Daniel
us
does
like
go
that.
to Latter-day College in St. Augustine,
Salt Lake City.
Mexico. Yeah, Salt Lake City. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we've made so many of these. It's like, is this actually going to be the one that's going to be uploaded? I don't know. I don't believe. Because Daniel
So we've talked
always
about
edits
this?
it.
Our
We've talked
audience
about this
doesn't
in-
know how much we've recorded up until this point. We have hours.
How many
of
trials?
us
How many titles we went through? How many intros we made? How many
we
things
talked
like that?
about how many podcasts we've recorded, but we didn't talk about how many hours. We've probably recorded like 20 hours minimum, like 20, 25 hours of podcasting at this
It's
point.
like a Let's Play
And
of
none
The
of them
Last
have been
of Us.
uploaded. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how have you guys been? It's been a week since I've talked to y'all because you guys just don't include me in your circle because I'm the odd man out.
That's
Namer, do you
not
guys
even
do
true.
Thanksgiving?
You just...
Are you racist, Daniel?
They're not real
It's like
Indians,
racist.
Daniel.
Well,
Come
I
on.
just know my question is kind of like, do you normally have big family get-overs?
Daniel, you've
on
known
Thursday?
me for like years. You know I celebrate Thanksgiving.
I'm asking for the audience,
Okay,
obviously.
well, I'm not Christian. My family's not Christian, so that's why he's asking me.
You don't have to be
Apparently you
Christian to celebrate Thanksgiving. It's not a Thanksgiving. It's
That's
not a
what
Christian
I
holiday.
say. But then racist Daniel comes here.
Well, that's the
He's
same thing
just
for
like-
Christmas. It's not Christian. It's capitalist.
Thanksgiving is not
capitalist
capitalist.
Barely.
I don't think Thanksgiving is
Barely.
capitalist per se. I think
No, not Thanksgiving. Christmas is capitalist.
Christmas is super capitalist. But yeah, I mean, I celebrate it normally. What we used to do would be like we go to like a family friend's house or just like family friends, and it'd be a potluck. So we just all bring certain thing, and there'd be a turkey
Yeah.
there too. And it's gotten really
Yeah.
smaller over the years, and then because of Corona now, it was just my mom. She didn't want to cook a whole meal for me and my brother, so she just pre-ordered, I guess, from Kroger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a whole, it came with a already cooked turkey that you just to heat up in the oven, and like a bunch of other
That's
stuff, like microwaves. So we did that together, and we ate it. So that was pretty chill. What about you? What did you guys do for Thanksgiving?
My aunt and uncle came from Idaho.
So they did
That's a long
exactly
way.
what the government said not to do.
Well, just 2 of them. It was 8 of us total, so it's small, and they were quarantined.
Just 2 of them.
They've been quarantined.
Hitler was one guy.
That's a strong comparison there, Namer. That's a real big jump in comparison there.
That's a leap.
That's
It's a
what.
yoga
That was one of my topics for today. I wanted to ask you, Namer, if you've ever really had an accent, because you're
accent?
foreign. You're foreign as well.
because your family, when they came over,
Foreign.
they have a
I feel
heavy
like I don't know how you
accent.
managed to say something
My-
so politically correct sounds so offensive. But no, I'm just kidding.
Something so politically correct. You know what? I,
I
have
said
something
you're
that's
You're
funny
foreign,
about
right?
as
this.
Neighbor?
well.
You're foreign, right, neighbor?
I said you're
Foreign?
also foreign, because my family's foreign too.
Yeah, Luke's Irish. I'm from Bangladesh, or my family's from
Yeah.
Bangladesh.
My family
Yeah,
probably
so have
dates
you-
back to the U.S. for a couple hundred years.
Have you ever had
Also
an
known
accent,
as being
Namer?
white.
As,
No, I've
as
never-
far as you remember.
I don't think I've ever had an accent. And what's really weird too is because my siblings were not born in the States, and they came to the States relatively old, right? Like I think my sister was like 4 or 5. My brother was like, or she might have been like 7 or something. My brother was like 10. But yet they have like like you've heard them talk. They have like really
Yeah,
American
they don't talk. They have
So
very
that-
Americanized.
So it's really weird how like they don't like. That's what I'm more surprised by than me, because I grew up here. It's not really
Yeah.
a big deal, and it's like for them, like I don't know how they don't have one at all. Maybe it's because like English itself requires a certain accent when you learn it. Who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know.
Although your brother kind of has one, doesn't he? That might just
No,
be because
not
he's
at
been
all.
living there for. Really? I thought.
don't think so,
Whenever I
no.
see him, I hear it a little bit. It's not very strong, but it's.
You know what we call that? We call that a microaggression. Like
Microaggression.
I'm already painting off
Luke's
Luke as a
attacking
racist.
him.
No, just kidding.
I only ask about accents because my aunt has was born and has lived in America her entire life, and my uncle is from Ireland, and as are both of my parents, right? But she was saying that as a child, me and all of my siblings had accents. She said that she heard a mix of Irish and Southern accents. I was curious.
You definitely had an accent, Luke. I remember in elementary school. Like, even my siblings were like, "Oh my god, Luke, he has a cute little Irish accent." You get really mad. You'd be like, "I don't have an accent. Like, I don't have an accent at all." Like, you actually did.
I find accents kind of interesting because everyone tells me my parents have accents, but I never hear it. I've never heard it.
Your dad kind of has an accent. Your mom also, like, kind of too. It's like it's just like light. I don't think it's like that.
Yeah, they both
Irish.
do. It's light. Irish light.
Like LIT.
Yeah. Which I'm jealous of, because I feel like an Irish accent's just so fun, you know? It's like...
I think it is.
So jolly.
I think it's one of the better Irish and Scottish, I think. Or better European accents, I think.
Yeah.
And,
I think there's nothing appealing about... I mean, I don't find anything appealing from broken English in a Bengali accent or Bengali accent.
I think, in my opinion, most Asian accents are harder to follow than most European accents.
I think it's just because their languages are typically much more different, right? Like, just even, like, structure-wise, like, because, like, all of our, like, even the English language is, like, predominant in Europe and America, right? So it's, like, we've kind of had the same thing going. Even if we, like, have different accents, it's, like, at least we're still within the same language for the most part.
So we were talking about the accents, right? And then I had a mic issue, so that's why we had to completely stop. And then I guess there's probably gonna be some sort of either a hard skip or like a technical difficulties, like with mariachi music playing, and then it goes back to normal.
Copyright-free mariachi music, obviously.
Yeah, royalty-free mariachi music.
Yeah.
And basically. So the problem for me was the reason why I did that was because I put it on the wrong like direction for sound. Instead of doing it like cardioid where it does like everything around it, it only did like in the one singular spot of the mic, which I don't think was a big deal, but it probably is. So who knows? But
were you using your mic the other day?
We really did need to explain this.
No, because this is a story about what happened yesterday. The reason why it was like that was because it was on a normal setting before, but then what happened was that I was just like testing my mic out, just to make sure everything was good to go for tomorrow, right? I was just testing it. Or I got the sock. I was getting a sock to use as a pop filter, right? I put it on, and then I start speaking into the mic. I listen to it. It's all it's skipping, like the audio itself is skipping, it's peaking, stuff like that. It's like, it's like and it's like it wouldn't let me say it, like it wouldn't sound normal at all.
Yeah.
I start freaking out. I'm like, is this mic broken? Like,
did I just break my mic by putting a sock on it?
I take the sock off immediately. Mic's unprotected, uncondomed. And then I put the USB. I'm like, maybe it's a different USB. So I get my USB charger from my calculator, right? Because it's the same cord. It's like micro USB B or something.
Yeah.
And then that does not work either. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the computer's fault. Maybe it's just reading it wrong. Like, let's like send the audio to my phone. Audio on the phone's the exact same. Sounds just as terrible. I'm like, okay, maybe it's GarageBand's fault. Let's try voice memos. Same thing. Terrible.
Right.
Like, oh no. I'm freaking out. And then, like, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And then, like, I look at the forums, no help whatsoever, obviously. I obviously don't have a warranty on this. And then...
obviously.
Naimur never pays for a warranty. No.
I shouldn't have listened to them, or I should have listened to them at Best Buy whenever they were like, would you like to add 2 years of warranty for this? Or an extended warranty. But yeah, and then I just restarted my computer, which has not restarted in I think about 2 months or so. It's been a while. And I restarted it. Took forever to reload again because it's been months since I restarted the computer. And then it sounded normal. I'm still worried that this is going to happen. Like, I have like a fear. But I feel like if I sound normal on this right now, I feel like it's not going to be an issue.
No, you sound fine.
So that is the complicated story of what happened just now relating to that. So I was testing out the settings, and that's why it looked weird.
Yeah,
so it's my fault, guys. Hashtag blame Naimur. Paint me as a villain.
Totally, it's your fault.
Podcast.
Bastard.
Okay, so we were talking about families. We were talking about accents.
Yes, I wanted to ask, Daniel. when my uncle came from Ireland or from Idaho, but he's from Ireland, his accent is much thicker than my mom's accent, even though they grew up together. This goes for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you guys think that might be? Could it just be? This is there's no wrong answer,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I'm just curious.
no, I
as
do
to
know
what you
one
guys
thing
might think.
is like Naimur was talking about like his sister and brother, like they kind of like have just a normal like American accent, and it's like I think what happens is no matter what, even if you live in a place long enough, you just start picking up on that location's like
Dialect.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like
Lingo.
their dialogue. No, not dialogue. Dialect. Yeah,
Yeah.
what you said. And so I think, like, for example, like, even if you're Irish, like your mom, you'll start using words that, like, that we use down here, or use in the
That
South.
makes sense.
So, like,
Yeah.
my dad, who grew up in the North, probably uses y'all every once in a while now. Even though he didn't grow up
Yeah.
with that word at all. I think that's what it is. It's just
Yeah,
kind of like
I think
you
it's
slowly
just-
just adapt to
yeah.
where you live.
Humans are just
Makes
creatures of
sense.
habits, right? So I feel like, if you go to England, but it is really weird though, right? It's like people who live in America that are from like the UK or something or Britain. It's like they still have their British accent for the most part, right? So it's like it's a little weird. It's like how come they still have it, whereas like especially after years' time. But I guess it takes a while, and also it's a combination of things. Like especially when you're a kid, I feel like the way you talk is very like like they talk about neuroplasticity, right? Like when you're a kid, it's a lot easier to change the wiring of your brain to do different things, so that's why it's easier to learn new things. So I feel like that's probably what has to do with it when you're younger. But then once you get older, your accent can't really change because you're just used to talking it for so long.
That makes sense.
See, that makes sense, but the one thing I'd say about that is that both my parents were adults when they moved to America.
Yeah.
They were like both 20,
But I still think they have
almost
accents.
30 actually.
Because I've heard them talk.
But
Yeah,
they've,
it's
but
just
they've
not as
lost
heavy
their
as what he's
accent.
saying.
They've lost their accents over the time. But
Yeah.
Daniel heard my uncle yesterday. His accent is still really thick, like really rural Irish accent.
When did he move?
Or he still has like a really. He moved about the same time as my parents.
I think the difference is in rural. Does he live in rural Idaho now, or like major city Idaho?
No, suburban
Idaho.
Idaho. Yeah.
Suburban.
Contradiction. No, just kidding.
I don't know. I feel like is there like maybe possibly a large Irish population there?
No.
Or maybe it's
there's
just
not.
he doesn't talk to as many
Potatoes.
people.
All I'm saying is they got potatoes. Got you there, Luke.
Well, he's married.
It's
You
the
see, he's married
potatoes.
to an American woman, and she has 2 American sons. So she's really only around.
To
Or
American
he's really only around
sons.
American people.
Yeah, but I'm
America.
talking about
Yeah, because-
frequency of which with he talks with different dialects and stuff like that. So
Oh,
like,
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like-
I get it. Yeah,
like your dad, like I assume for his job talks to people all the time.
that's
Like,
true.
constantly,
That's a good point.
Literally
yeah.
constantly, and then
Mhm.
like your mom
Yeah, he
too,
does.
like with her job too. I assume. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like I think it's just how often you talk to people is.
And also, if you're
I don't know,
talking
it's
to like
just
a
really weird.
variety of accents, I think you're like less likely to pick up on any single one. While if there's like a
makes
predominant
sense, yeah.
dialect, then you're more like I don't know. That's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe
There's
that
lots of
makes
stuff that
sense.
goes into it.
So, and I just want to clarify. Naimur was talking about my parents' professions. My dad is a salesman for a rather large company, so he interacts with people of all nationalities. And my mom is a nurse's assistant at our high school, so
Former high school.
or ex high school.
Former high school.
Former
Yeah,
high school.
guys, we're still in high
Ex-high
school.
school.
I mean, we're not that far off.
We were kicked out.
People will still see
We were
us.
kicked out of high school. That's why we call it ex-high school. Yeah.
This is actually
Yeah.
the College Dropouts podcast.
made by Kanye West and brought to you by Kanye West. College Dropout.
It's just a
Yeah.
podcast with
Speaking
is
of
it
college,
Steve
though,
Jobs,
so
Kanye West,
basically anybody of value has quit college. Remember
Yeah.
Silicon Valley, that
Bill
whole
Gates
joke?
or whatever.
The
he
dude
is.
was like talking to that billionaire CEO.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I had this idea. He's like, yeah, kid, everybody has an idea. He's like, no, but like, I have a true. He's like, yeah, sure, kid. He's like, I think I'll go back to college then. He's like, no, don't go back to college. Just, I'll have a meeting with you then. Like, remember that? I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I did.
That show's so, like, hilarious.
See, Naimur, that'd be easy for you, but not really for me or Daniel, because you want to be a computer scientist, right? You can learn that on your own. Daniel and I
guess.
can't.
But, like, if you really want a job
Like for what we
now-
want to do.
If you really want a job now, like, obviously, I think back then it's, like, coding boot camps and stuff. Like there was this one. She was a Columbia graduate, I think. She's on YouTube.
I'll be right back.
She was a Columbia graduate on YouTube, right? I think she got a degree in something related to law or political science at Columbia or NYU, one of the New York schools. Very nice school, right? I think it was Columbia. And she got into her job. She hated it, right? And I mean, she figured she liked computer science, so she just took a computer science boot camp, and now she makes like $300K a year doing programming.
Yeah.
At a place. Like, just from a boot camp. Like, that's how she got her knowledge from. So, but I think it's, like, gotten a lot harder to do that stuff now because I feel like the degree is, like, now the gateway for a lot of people, especially because of Corona. Where, like, sure, you learn boot camping. Like, obviously, in quarantine, it's like, I think they just want to see the more maturity level. Or not maturity, just, like, the passion for it or, like, the experience for it, you know?
Supply is too high for demand, basically, is what you're saying.
So then they need the people that are the best of the best, which is anybody with a college degree,
exactly. Who have been to college.
Well, I definitely think...
makes sense.
A while back, they were saying, and it still is, CS is a great... Like, computer science is a great field to go into because there's just a growing demand, all the time. But I think we are reaching a point where supply is starting to catch up, where more people are actually going into these STEM fields, where they're going into computer science, where they're going into, like... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's weird because I think because of coronavirus, there's not really a demand for jobs, so therefore the demand for CS graduates is not very high anymore, right now at least. And
but then really the demand for any graduates isn't very high.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like it hits CS too. So like reading like CS careers or whatever, like r/CS careers, it's so like disheartening or sad to read because people are like, I just graduated this semester, like right when coronavirus hit, right. He was like, and I've applied to 40 places and I've only gotten one offer, and that was like it was basically like a bogus job. It wasn't like a true coding job.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was like, dang, that's like really scary and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even know.
Makes sense.
Like, hopefully we'll see in 4 years, right? Like, things change a lot, so there's obviously going to be demand for computers and stuff like that. So
computers are actually going out of style in the next 2 years.
Computers are going out of style, yeah. Imagine being able to code on your phone. That I would never understand. That would be so weird. I say that now, but just I
bet it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm sure people will do that all the time.
I bet people already do it.
Like, could you imagine like kids in like AP Comp Sci, like just in high school in like 2030?
Yeah,
they're like, oh my god, I have a CS assignment due. Just go on their phone, type it up, done. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. And speaking of, I guess, college and classes, have your classes all ended overall?
No, none of mine have ended. Well, my lab has ended, but I still have the lecture for that class. No, none of mine have actually ended yet.
That's weird.
Yep.
Mine have.
Ours don't.
We're in finals.
Ours don't end until the 11th of December.
Okay.
As for reference, we're recording this on November 28th.
Yeah. Well, mine. I've just been. It's been finals week, or has started basically for us. So I'm just prepping it for finals. But I feel like a lot of other. That's weird that you guys still have it because I feel like most schools don't.
Yeah, I think we end pretty late. But also, when do you go back to school?
It's pretty late too. It's like mid-January, something like that.
Mid-January. I think ours
we get back on January 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like a week or two after that. So.
Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just.
When do you guys?
But I also started a week.
I just want to brag.
I started
about
like a week or two before y'all, so I think it's.
Yeah,
fair.
I think they just start.
That's
fall.
true.
They might just start fall early. That might just be it. Fall semester.
That could be it.
Yeah, but I remember my classes did start like a week before y'all's because y'all had like orientation and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I've just been grinding because I'm really just trying to get these exams over with. Like, hopefully, I think like overall, most of my classes, like, I'm like on the cusp of an A, or like I'm on an A, but like I just have to make sure I do well in the final to make sure it maintains an A.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so I've just been grinding for like chemistry and stuff like that. But then, like, I'm just trying to get it over because once this week is over, guess what comes out? December 10th, baby.
What? Cyberpunk
2077.
That's where this conversation was leading.
Oh my god!
Man, I bought Naimur. I bought a Series X
already. So do you have it yet or not?
Yep. No,
So
I don't have it yet. It's supposed to arrive mid next week, and they're going to hold it for a week for me. So I'll probably get it next weekend.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, or mid this week. Sorry. Yeah.
I will probably
Yeah,
be waiting
so I'm
until
gonna
I
buy-
actually have money or when my birthday comes up next year to get it. So
See, so we just sold our second Xbox One for $130.
you're rich, we know.
By second, I mean we used to have two Xbox Ones because my dad won an Xbox One for free in a raffle.
Yeah.
But we just sold that for $130. So my parents and I are subtracting that from the total cost, and then we're splitting it for my Christmas gift. So so I have to pay about
$6 million.
like $200.
6 million.
$6
$6
trillion.
million.
Luke's
Not
actually
Twitch
in debt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because the problem is, like, I've been reading and just seeing on social media that PlayStations are just sold out left and right. Like, they're just, like, PlayStation 4s.
Oh
or
yeah, no,
5s.
I got really lucky. So Walmart started a deal for Black Friday on Wednesday. Sorry, on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So I was literally sitting at my computer at 7:59, just refreshing the page. So that's how I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I know, well, maybe it's because I've also heard that the demand for the Xboxes are not that high anymore, especially after launch. Because, you know, they're just...
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like it or not, Sony is definitely the king of the consoles right now. Because, you know, just with PS4 and
Because of its exclusives, I think.
that too. And just, you know, it's just... People will love the PS4 from last generation, so obviously they're going to love it again.
Yeah.
But, like, so I've been seeing it's like, you know, it's relatively easier to get an Xbox One X, but then, like, getting a PS4 is, like, literally impossible, or PS5 is literally impossible. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, as soon as they go out on sale, or, like, they drop in, or a shipment drops on Walmart or whatever, it's out. They're immediately out, and stuff like that. It's like, wow. But I also hear it's, like, a lot of people, or, like, a lot of resellers are buying them to scalp them on eBay. Like, basically just, like,
Oh
buy
yeah,
them,
no, that's a big
sell
that's
them
a big
for
thing.
double
Yeah.
it, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that they're doing that too.
That's a big thing. It's so morally corrupt. It's just
It's also
really
it's not
fucked.
like the problem is it's a good business. Like, clearly they're doing it because they know people will pay for it, or people have paid for it in the past.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But it's
Which
just
is it makes no sense because
morally bankrupt thing to do.
obviously, Mr.
Yeah.
Socialist, okay, morals, greed, okay.
Yeah,
But,
what is this? This is capitalism. We don't have those, Luke.
Bernie Sanders, PS4s for all of us.
That's what socialism is. Everyone gets a PS4.
The next,
Not even the
Democratic-
PS4, not
new
even the
generation
PS5.
console.
Yeah, not even the next generation, just the previous generation.
Joe Biden campaigns in 2024, and everyone will get a free PS4 because he's old. He'll say PS4 on accident when the PS5 is clearly
Yeah, that's
old.
what I think we should do. Instead of getting stimulus checks, we should just all get. We should all just get
PS5s. Or PS4s.
PS4s.
It should be called UBP or UBP instead of Universal Basic Income. Universal Basic.
Universal
PlayStation.
Basic PlayStation.
Every month you get a new PlayStation.
I think if Joe Biden promised to stop Cyberpunk 2077's delay, then I think he would have won every Gen Z and every millennial.
He would have just instantly won the election, bro.
Yeah, but then the Republicans would get on him, being like, "Oh wow, he did business with Poland, corrupt." Like,
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
like how dare he? You know, Hunter Biden's laptop questions that he won. Yeah, it's just like he'll definitely something fishy. The Republicans will be like that. I don't know. I'm worried though, because like, you know, so I've been waiting, and like Luke, me and you have a similar, or all three of us have the same Xbox relatively. It's basically the one that came out
Yeah.
at launch. We didn't buy it at launch, but it's
Yeah.
like the same version.
Yeah.
So it's like the big,
There's the basic
black,
Xbox One.
thick,
Yeah.
long, juicy Xbox One.
Didn't have to describe it
Yeah,
like
it's-
that. Didn't have to
it's very
describe it like
bulky.
that at all.
It's very bulky, and so I'm just
Very
worried
girthy.
because I remember when I got Red Dead 2, like I remember I played it,
Mhm.
and like I think they patched it, but like when I first played it, I remember I went to Saint Denis like in early part or whatever, and dude, it was like chugging. It was chugging because Saint Denis is like a very
Yeah.
heavily populated town in the game.
Yeah.
It's like a New York-esque thing in the industrial age, and that was like it was chugging along. So I was like worried, and I was like, I don't know. And I have the PS4 Slim, so I was thinking I'm probably gonna get it on the PS4, but I have no clue.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, because I'm worried that like it's just not gonna run well in the current gen consoles period, because the whole reason they delayed it
Well, it probably
supposedly. What? Don't say that.
Is to get it figured out on.
Don't get
on
my
every
hopes
console.
down. Don't scare me like that, Luke. Like I just
What?
heard like, you know, so they delayed it a month. It was supposed to come out like November 19th or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they delayed it because they were just making sure that it ran smoothly on the current gen consoles.
I just want to clarify
already-
for everyone listening. We are talking about Cyberpunk 2077 still. Just
Yeah.
in
Yes,
case
yes.
just in case all of
I
the
think we should-
it
we
and
should
they. It just clarifying, just making sure.
Okay, the game Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm just worried it's not gonna run well.
Mm-hmm.
This is really what
Yeah.
I'm worried about.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's.
But it has
move
Keanu
on.
Reeves. How can it not run well?
I think it will. I think Witcher 3 can run well. I think that game will run well, but who knows? It's especially
was it?
like if The Last of Us Part 2, man, if that ran well, then that I don't know.
I think I saw somebody.
Like-
Sorry, this is random. I think I saw somebody joking that the ending of Cyberpunk 2077 is just Keanu Reeves giving you a kiss. It's just mwah.
That's the only scene he's actually in.
Yeah, that's
The beginning of the game.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about some of Naimur's No Nuance November topics.
Oh,
because they
well,
were
you spoiled
kind of
it now.
intriguing.
Okay, so clearly
What?
right now
How
it's
is it a
November. So
spoiler?
there's only 3. Because I was gonna bring it up naturally, but it's fine. All right.
No, you weren't.
Okay, so basically,
There was no.
It's going to be just
natural-
as jarring.
so on TikTok there was this trend going along called No Nuance November, right? And
For all you
I was
boomers out
pretty-
there, TikTok is a platform. I'm just kidding.
yeah, okay. Daniel, why don't you tell the lads and gents and others,
Lads and gents. Tell them
and
what?
everyone,
What TikTok
tell
is?
them what No Nuance.
I like
November
Tiki
is.
Talkies.
I'll explain it. I suppose.
Oh.
No Nuance for November is basically a trend where you just drop a hot take on a subject with no context,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Daniel has some issues with the name No Nuance November. Cause it
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
my No Nuance November hot take is that the name No Nuance November is the stupidest name you could possibly pick. I know they're trying to do the 3 N's, so it's like alliteration, but the word nuance just doesn't make sense in this context. It just doesn't work. And Luke just died. I hope his computer didn't die.
Let's just keep. I don't think his computer
Okay.
died. I think he just exited out. He's muted right now. So
I think his computer died.
no,
Okay.
because he was. Remember he like.
I
muted
just
it
if you
first
look
and
up
then
the
he
definition of a nuance, it's like a subtlety, and I
He's back.
kind
I'm
of
back.
get it. So it's like you're not being subtle. It's like that. It's just the wording just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
That could also be the issue. Did your computer die, Luke, or
Alright.
did you just accidentally leave?
No, it didn't. No,
Okay.
I just somebody came in, so I just muted myself. and
Oh, okay, yeah.
It'll still be in the audio track, but so you'll
Okay,
just have
that's
to cut that out.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Okay.
We were just
Yeah,
talking
okay,
about how
so
I
should
hate the word
begin
nuance.
with my hot takes?
Yes, let's
Or my
begin.
Yeah,
No Nuance
you can
November
begin.
Do you want to go one at a time? Do you want to list them all off at once?
No,
or
I'm
do you
gonna
wanna-
I'm gonna go one at a
we can
time.
discuss them each.
And if we have anything to talk about,
Okay.
hopefully. Okay. So the first one is we've evolved past the need for sparkling water.
What? Sorry, what did Naimur just
Perrier.
say?
We've
Okay.
evolved past the need
That's-
for sparkling water.
That's bullshit.
Perrier,
You don't think
Topo
we've
Chico.
evolved
Yeah, that's
past the
bold.
need for
Sparkling water is good.
we have. It's useless. It's terrible.
There's
Sparkling water
I say
is
this
good.
as I drink a
Sparkling
LaCroix.
water is superior
but-
water.
It's stupid. I
It's-
hate sparkling water. It
well,
tastes like static TV, bro. I hate
dude,
it.
I think. Okay, here's
But
my
it's
thing.
good,
I
though.
love all the jokes about like, oh, this is what Lacroix tastes like. It tastes like somebody put a strawberry next to a glass of water. Like, it's like stuff like that where it's like, oh, it feels like somebody. It feels like when your foot falls asleep. It's like stuff like that. Like I love those jokes. Those jokes should not stop. Myself,
Regular
I don't think I've
sparkling
actually
water?
tried sparkling water. If I'm being honest,
Then why are you getting so teed up about it, man?
I'm not getting teed up.
doesn't
I
involve you.
was just saying I find the jokes funny.
No, but
I don't
like
know.
sparkling water is the most pointless. It's just like it's water for people who want to have health problems because it's carbon. You're just like you're putting
Water for
like,
people
there's no way
who-
that's
Sure.
digestible.
Water for people who don't enjoy drinking water.
Yeah, but they also don't care about being healthy at all, right? So it's like just drink, just shove Coca-Cola
No, but
right
they-
up into your mouth. Then like
They don't
just
want to
do
feel. They don't want to feel. They don't like the feeling of drinking water, and they don't care about being healthy, but they want to feel like they're being healthy.
Exactly.
it. It's just so stupid. Like
So
LaCroix at least
they're
is
just
flavored.
lying to
like, that, I'll give
themselves.
them that. Yeah, like I'll give
Yeah.
them that. Like LaCroix is at least like it's flavored, so it kind of tastes pretty decent. Like that's what I enjoyed. My mom
then
also
again,
bought it from the
if
store,
it's just-
so I'm just drinking it right now. But yeah, what'd you say, Luke?
If it's just sparkling water, there's no sugar.
Okay.
And is carbon actually bad for you? It's carbonated.
Carbonated?
Anything
I'm pretty
actually
sure
bad
it's
for you on its own?
acidic. Like I think it affects your teeth at the very least.
Yeah, like
But
I
maybe
also
I'm wrong.
have burped
Okay.
like 4 times upon drinking just one gulp of LaCroix.
But that's not bad for your health though. It's just burping.
As a
Well,
reflux,
it could
yeah.
be a sign of like disturbing your stomach
That's
or
true.
whatever. Who knows?
That's true.
All I know is
And just like
it's
I-
not
I
as
think
good
it's
for you as
pointless.
water.
Water. This is brought to you by Big Water Company.
Water.
Just
This
Big Water.
this podcast is
Big Water
actually
has
sponsored
lobbied
by
for this
water.
podcast.
Fire?
Like normal
Nah.
water.
Okay.
So Topo Chico,
next one?
all those other ones, terrible. I hate them. But LaCroix can
Fair
stay. LaCroix is fine.
You know, wait, before we move on, I want to
LaCroix is
bring up,
flavored.
Luke, do you remember when one of our directors walked in with an entire case of Topo Chico?
Yeah.
This is in high school. Walked in and just accidentally dropped it on the hard floor, and it just shattered all the bottles and spilled liquid everywhere. Broken glass, shards, Topo Chico just spilling out over the floor. It was this huge mess. Anyways,
I feel like if you
that's
took a
just
photo
funny
of that, that would belong in a modern Renaissance museum. Just the photo.
Probably would.
Yeah.
Like of the despair in the dude's face, along with the broken bottles of Topo Chico on the floor.
Yeah. It was truly an emotional moment. Okay, let's move on to another nuance.
Alright,
I'm
next
done
hot
talking about
take.
Yes.
Sparkling.
Being bad at math is not a personality trait.
Yes, agreed.
I certainly agree with that. As somebody who plans on becoming a math teacher, I think
It's
I think
disgusting. Get a hold
think
of
the
being
yourself.
bad at I think being bad at anything is not a personality trait.
yeah. I
But
would
no,
agree with
this
that.
specifically.
Like it can be
Like it's
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
yeah.
1 + 1
Because
=
being
2.
bad at
Get on
math
it.
is
Here's
the
the
main
thing,
thing.
I don't-
But like
I don't
if you're
wanna-
bad at history, it's also not a personality trait.
I don't want to like
Or,
push
you
people
know.
away by saying, "Oh, if you're bad at math, like get out of here." No, it's like you can be bad at math, and I don't think that's necessarily your fault. Like a lot of times, I do think the way we teach math.
No, I think it is.
Is-
Get a hold of yourselves. Fix it.
No. Hey, if you're out there and you're bad at math, pull yourself together, man.
It's
What are you
counting.
Actually, this is like what Daniel's saying.
It's
Daniel's
glorified
saying.
counting. Multiplication is just counting with less steps. That's all it is.
This is what Daniel was saying. My No Nuance November topic is that the entire education system needs to be restructured.
Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah,
my
I-
no nuance November topic. My hot take.
Yeah.
It's not even
The
a
education
nuanced
system
hot
needs to-
take because people are trying to do that. You guys are not understanding this. This is
Oh,
supposed to be
okay.
Okay.
Well then, the
Okay,
way
fine.
we teach
fine.
math.
My No Nuance November topic, my No Nuance November topic is that every public facility in the United States, or the vast majority at least, need to be reformatted.
Okay.
Okay.
How about just the government of the United States needs to be reformatted, needs to be restructured
Balkanize the
Interesting hot take.
states.
into a communist
Balkanize the
dictatorship?
states.
I just
Okay,
think,
let's just-
it's like no wait. Let me just continue on this.
Okay, yeah, you can
because
finish.
the reason I said this is not
Yeah.
because being bad at math. Like if you're genuinely bad, it's like I hate, especially in high school when I had to deal with like just like the like generic girl being like, oh my god, I'm so bad at math. It's like like being
Yeah.
like super dramatic about it. It's like get a hold of yourselves. You're a 12th grader and you don't know how to do simple multiplication. Like you can't find
yeah.
x. Like I mean, it's no surprise because you couldn't find your normal x when you had them. Boo! No, I'm just kidding. It's stupid.
I don't think that was
I
as
wasn't
good
even
of a
a jab
roast
at
as you
anyone.
thought it was.
It wasn't. It
It
really,
really
wasn't.
wasn't. It was pretty bad.
But yeah, I just think it's disgusting. You need to get a hold of yourselves. Learn x plus
It's
y.
one of
A
those things
squared
where it's like
b plus b
people
squared
who
equals
brag
c
about
squared.
being tired all the time. It's like, I got
Oh,
3
yeah.
hours of
Yeah.
sleep last night. That's not
The
my
AP
fault.
kids.
How is
Or
that?
being an AP class
like,
like
Yeah.
it's almost
Why
like
should
it
I
sounds
need
like
to
a
know?
cry
That's
for
your
help.
fucking problem.
It sounds like a cry for help.
I
That's what it sounds
procrastinated up until the last minute, and I stayed up for. I only had 2 hours of sleep yesterday because I had so much work.
like. Here's
Meanwhile,
the
I'm getting A's and B's after
Yikes.
not studying at all.
here's the other thing. If you're huge flex on everyone, Luke. If it's like a problem with anxiety where it's like I have to stay up and get all this homework done every single night, and that's why I only get 3 hours of sleep every night. It's like then you need to get that taken care of. That's not something to go around just like throwing around as a brag. It's like you should get that taken care of. But otherwise, it's like these
Well, it's
people who
like-
just stay up. It's like it's your fault, and
I don't think
everyone's
that's the
always like,
issue necessarily. The behavior. I just hate whenever people. It's like a bragging contest when it's really not. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man, I was really tired. I had to study for this test yesterday.
I was like,
It's
oh,
yeah,
really?
me
You
too.
had to
I
study
had
for
to
a test?
study
Man,
for
I had
8
like
tests yesterday.
yeah, I had a project.
I had to study
and,
for
like
8
6
tests
thi-
yesterday.
Yeah, it becomes like a
Oh,
competition.
and also,
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
my grandpa died, so I had to study in the funeral. And then in that too, my cousin
it
died
is a
in the same
competition.
funeral.
Yeah.
So we had a double
Why are we
funeral.
so competitive?
Dude, I dropped my freaking project into his open casket.
I had to reach in and grab. Here's a
I was
question.
doing a science experiment for my chem lab, and I also had to get my mother cremated the other day too. And then I accidentally used the cremations instead of the salt to do the experiments.
So
God.
I'm
It's like,
gonna.
oh really? You even use salts?
I was gonna bring something up, Naimur, before we move on to your next hot take. I just wanted to say, I was talking to Luke about this. I saw a TikTok of this teacher complaining that, oh, they found a new way to cheat on Canvas. Oh, this just makes teaching so much harder during the pandemic. And she was just being roasted in the comments by like students all alike saying, you guys make our life so hard during the pandemic and blah, 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 blah. And I'm wondering, like, why are people so, like, is it just like pressure that causes people to cheat, to be so competitive all the time? Because like even in school, we would see people competing to like have like maybe the worst grade. Like, oh, I just got an 89 in a test, and it's like, can't believe now I'm gonna have to go and do blah blah blah. And it's like there's just so much. I don't know.
We definitely lived in a microcosm.
See, I was gonna.
A lot of people were really smart, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it, where everybody was just so competitive, and
yeah, if we definitely live in a very intelligent area of Texas. Like if you have B's at our school, you'd have A's anywhere else.
Yeah, if you were in the top,
literally,
like, let's say you were in the top 10%.
If you have C's in our school, you'd have A's everywhere else.
Yeah, if you were the top 10% at our school, you'd probably be in the top 5, like just overall 5 at like a small school in like
probably.
I wouldn't say rural Texas, but like a small town Texas. You know?
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
probably most of the rest of the country as well.
Yeah, but it's like I think competitions, right? So people. Well, at least not for us, but like the bigger schools in different districts, like a lot of people, they literally have to cheat just so they can get to a higher, because everything's so inflated, right? And then you play the GPA game where it's like, oh, I don't want to take this class because it's an on-level, so my GPA is not going to be weighted as high, or, you know, stuff like that. So that's obviously a part of it too. But I think also, when it comes to the teachers, I think teaching and like learning needs to be a symbiotic relationship, right? Like the teacher needs to have a symbiotic relationship with the student where they're both getting something out of it, right? But the problem is, there are a lot of teachers that genuinely believe it as a dictatorship. Or at least treat it like a dictatorship.
Yeah, an authoritarian.
I'm a teacher. These are my roles. Like, you take it or whatever. I'll have a call with your parents if you don't. Like, that stuff's an issue. You need to have, like, a format where it's, like, one, you have to make the student want to learn. And two, it's just, you have to make it, there needs to be give and take, you know? Like, you gotta, you can't just be demanding. You also have to, like,
you have to listen to what your students are saying and understand where are they standing and, you know, how can I help them better? Maybe I need to adapt a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into teaching.
That's why I liked, Daniel, that's why I liked our world history / U.S. history / European history teacher.
We had a teacher, just for context, we had a teacher for 3 years
for all 3 of those
One
subjects.
of our favorite teachers, probably. I mean, we did intentionally take as many
because
classes.
I liked her because she was kind of chill. Right, she wasn't like that at all. Like she knew when to put her foot down, right? But she also she was chill with us. I mean, she wasn't strict. She wasn't over the top in most.
And she tried to listen to us. I love that.
Most areas.
She would listen.
She did.
Like, she's like, what are your guys' opinion on this
Especially,
project? Did you guys like it? Was this too hard? Should I adapt the next project? Would you like more of this?
And she actually changed it the next year.
Yeah.
For the next class of student. Especially when we were in AP Euro with her.
Yeah.
Because it was literally just 9 of us taking that class.
Well, yeah, I think also she did that mainly for that class.
9 of us in that one class.
Because it's just such a small class.
On another period.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, like, she's doing that so that next year, like, because you guys, it was the first year having the class, like, the next year she'll be able to...
Well, it wasn't her first year teaching.
No, I'm just saying, but for the school. And then obviously you adjust every year based on that.
Yeah, that's true.
So... I mean, yeah. All right, so next topic.
Okay, move on to your next hot take.
This was the one that I wanted. This one and the next one were the ones.
This is also school-related.
Okay.
Keep in mind. Different subject. Okay. If you didn't have an A in U.S. history or econ, you have relinquished the right to talk politics in any circumstance.
See, I don't think so. Because I've had B's in every subject for all of high school. Would you know that by listening to
I'm not being
my
like
political speech?
Okay, but I'm not being like nuanced, like... nuance, get it? I'm not being like super specific, like, oh, if you had an 89.7, doesn't count because it was still a B.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I've had 85s, 84s, 83s, all through high
maybe
school.
A is a little too harsh, but just like if you're not doing as great as you should in like those classes, you should not have the gall to just tell people left and right, like, no,
but
like,
see, I'm
you're
just
wrong
saying
because this should be this way. Right, because you see a little infographic on Twitter or like TikTok, like explaining something to you to make your point better or more valid. It's like, no, like if you don't even understand the fundamentals of econ, I'm not saying AP econ. Like AP is different. If you're in AP classes for any of those things, then by definition you are already above. I would say personally, that's like But like I'm saying, if you're in on level, just like a normal level, and you're like struggling in those classes or just not doing as good as like at least an A. It's like you clearly don't understand the fundamentals of the government and how we were running our country and just economics in general.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should properly be having your points are always invalid when it comes to those things because you don't understand them properly.
Luke, what were you gonna say?
You know, it's like we have argument.
Okay,
like,
I was
Namer,
gonna say.
give him a second. Namer, you could talk for a minute straight.
Okay.
No, I'm
See,
just-
this is a heated one.
I'm
This is
cutting
a
you
heated
off.
one.
I'm gonna cut. I know you're heated. I know you care about this a lot. That's
Okay.
how I can tell.
And you're
I think
cutting
you've already
Luke
made
off
your
for
point.
longer because you're explaining why you're cutting
Because
me off.
Luke, go ahead.
And now we're having this argument. We're
I
just
was
making
gonna
Luke not
say-
talk longer.
I was gonna say that some people, myself included, don't like learning when they're told to learn. Okay. See, that's why I'm bad at school.
Okay, Luke.
Because I don't like being told to learn about something. I love learning about history on my
your
own.
time,
Like
yes.
that's all I listen to when I'm in the car.
too.
I listen to history podcasts. I listen to, political podcasts. I listen to psychology podcasts, which is my major. But I hate doing it for school.
Luke's just
because
a
I don't
rebel.
like being told to do things.
Yeah, he's a rebel.
Yeah.
Luke, Luke, I
Daniel
understand
knows
that.
I've been
Okay,
What do I
sorry,
know?
continue. I didn't mean.
I was going to say, Daniel knows I've been writing a lot recently, and I'm loving it. It's so much fun, and I've been writing and reading a lot, and I love it. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite thing to do right now, except maybe play video games, because I just love video games too. But I love it so much because I'm not being told to do it, and I hate doing both of those in school. So some people just aren't good at doing things they're told to do. Because then it just takes out the passion.
Yeah.
If you're told to do something a certain way, you're not passionate about it anymore. In at that moment, at least. So you just don't care.
Right.
That's at least my experience.
No, I agree. I think you're
Yeah.
right. The thing
It's
is, I didn't write this hot take based on that, right? Like, I just wrote it because a lot of the time, whenever I see on, like, social media, these people, specifically, when it came to, like, Trump supporters and stuff like that, talking about, like, how he's done so much better for the country and, like, how his policies are the better ones. And, like, yet they don't, like, they fail, like, econ, right? And they want to talk
Yeah.
politics, yet
Yeah.
they sucked at social studies year in and year out in high school. Like, the people I grew up with, It's like, I don't think, like, your opinion's out. Like, there are definitely people on those side of the boat that are smart. And I will be willing to listen to them. But that's the benchmark. That's the basis, right?
My
Like,
hesitation. My hesitation.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My hesitation on all this.
and also, I'm not being specific,
Oh,
like, it's specifically exactly an A. I'm just saying, if you're just not good at those classes. then-
Sorry, Namer. I think
Yeah.
I talked over you there. I think
No.
think
Yeah,
I think
go
we
ahead.
were like there's a little Discord issue, but I was gonna say wait, I can't tell if he's talking or not. Luke, is
I'm
he
not.
talking?
He's not.
I'm not talking.
Okay.
No, he's
just
not.
because
He's
your
being
video
completely
is
silent.
very slow, I can't tell if you're
Oh,
like.
I was just moving.
Okay, so my hesitation to say like, oh, if you didn't like do this, then like you can't talk about politics is people would mark that or do that same thing with life experience. Like, oh, if you're like
Yeah.
under the age of like 22, like you don't have any reason to talk about politics whatsoever. Like, get out of here. Or like specifically,
if you haven't been driving a car for 6 years, you can't tell me how to pump gas.
Well, the thing that's different with that is that, like, I agree to a certain extent. Like, if you can't vote, then I don't think you should necessarily have as great of a weight on politics until you can. Does that make sense?
Or if you won't
not necessarily,
vote.
not necessarily
If
if,
you
you're
won't
22.
vote, that's a big thing too.
That too, exactly. So I don't think I think it's on that side of the boat. Not like if you're a hard-lined age, like I don't care if you're below a certain age, then I don't want to hear it whatsoever. I'm not being like that vague. I'm just saying because I feel like this is something that you can fix if you're not even putting the time into your social studies or history or anything whatsoever like that. Or not doing good in those classes, yet you're very vocal about your political beliefs. You shouldn't be because you're not good at.
I think what
or
you're
you
getting
clearly
at
don't
is
understand them.
people need to be better at educating themselves, especially if they're gonna try to be passionate about something.
Exactly. Well, it's like if you're gonna talk all this talk, then you need to know your stuff. If you don't, then stop talking. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mean like so. If you have a B, I'm not saying that you should never talk about politics. I'm just saying if you don't, like the people that talk the most talk, I have personally seen, are also the ones that aren't necessarily good in those classes. So fix it. You know?
Yeah.
And then come back to me is what I'm saying. Yeah. But if you are
What-
smart and you
I-
have that opposing viewpoint, I'm willing to listen to you a lot more than if you're not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I have a similar point to that where it's like, or like a similar example that connects to that. It's like a lot of people love talking about like taxes because that's all the talk right now. Should we raise the taxes? Should we lower the taxes? Should we tax the rich more? Should we, lower the taxes on the rich because, trickle down economics, blah, blah, blah. I don't think, but the people who talk about that the most loudly and blah, 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 they're like, oh, we can't tax the rich, blah, 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 blah. A lot of them don't. Like, even I didn't know how tax brackets worked. Like how taxing works.
Exactly.
Until like a year ago or a year or two ago. It's like they don't understand there are these chunks where any money you earn up until that point is still just taxed at that lower value, right? So I saw somebody doing the math today where it's like, I think if you're earning 100,000, people think, oh, well, the tax bracket there is like a 50%, so you'd be paying 50,000 or like 40,000 in taxes. But if you do the tax bracket math, it's like 27,000.
Yeah.
It's 13,000 less. It's like ridiculous. So it's like that adds up, and I don't think people fully understand how taxes work, and therefore they're just kind of blabbering on about it, and that doesn't help the conversation.
And then the same thing along the lines, different ways, is like climate change, which should not be politicized, but it is. Like the people that deny climate change are the same people that I've noticed don't do good in
failed science class,
in environmental sciences or geology or any of that stuff, right? In those sections of science. So like, if you clearly don't understand the subject that well, then you should not be talking about something that clearly, the thing you see online, like, oh, well, statistically it's on record, because you don't even understand it. Like, you don't understand the basic fundamentals of that type of science, so then don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, like, just don't talk
about it. I think we agree with you. I think we sort of have a level of agreement here. I don't want to go
I'm
on.
a little, like, heated, but that's just because I see all these people primarily on climate change deniers over the years that just do it because it's like, it's wrong.
I've told you guys this before. The thing that ticks me off the most, literally the most, I can be having the best day, but if I scroll through Reddit or find a TikTok where somebody's trying to justify why evolution does not exist or why climate change does not exist, that is the fastest way to change my mood, like to just completely ruin my day.
Yeah.
It just upsets me because not only has our education system failed, but also just like the fact that these people are continuing to push other people in this direction. It's just a mess. But I feel like I don't want to talk about this for too long because we can get on these long
next topic.
rants about.
This is a little bit different. This is based on video games. This is I really wrote this mainly to make mad someone else, but I also have an opinion on this.
To make me mad.
A specific person that may or may not be on this podcast. It's the fact that I said Assassin's Creed is just not good.
I have no comment.
Go to explain.
I have no comment.
Go to explain.
Okay, so let me explain myself, and then Luke can talk. Okay? Is that good?
Naimur's smiling so
I'm
much
not saying,
right now.
I'm not saying, like, I'm not like gonna do the Steven Crowder thing where it's like America is not racist.
Change my mind.
It's like when was America racist? Then, right? I'm just saying, I admit Assassin's Creed used to be good. It was good for a while, right? I think up until 4, and then
for people who don't know, what is Assassin's Creed 4 about?
Black Flag, the pirate.
Black frag, right? Black fracking. They go around fracking.
It's just a black frag grenade.
Call of Duty X Assassin's Creed Black Frag.
It was the pirate game.
The pirate game.
Okay. Wait, maybe we should explain. Should we explain what Assassin's Creed is?
Assassin's Creed is a
video game series
where basically there's a lineage of ancestors that are a part of this order over time that do stuff regarding history events, whatever, yada yada. Nobody cares.
They're assassins,
but you basically
in the past
over time, right? So you play these assassins from different time periods. So like the American Revolution, Renaissance Italy, the First Crusade or the Third Crusades, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So
this most recent one is about the Viking invasion of England. Or the Viking, yeah, you know what I mean.
So it sucks. The game sucks. Just the series sucks now because Black Flag was good. It was
Why you said it again? Black Flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was because they used to release one every single year, and they were all part of this overarching story about a person throughout all of them. Like they were all interconnected by one main person, and I liked that. It was a good story.
In the modern day.
In the modern day, exactly.
In the modern day.
Yeah. Okay.
All the ancestors were connected to one guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was just an overarching story between the games, right? I liked it, and then they basically tied up that story in the third game, like Assassin's Creed 3 before Black Flag. Black Flag. Don't judge me on that. I swear.
You did it again.
It's really not that hard to say, Naimur.
You did it
Black
again.
Flag. I just
Oh my God.
okay. Anyway, and ever since then, I mean, the series has always been a cash cow. It's always been a year in, year out. It's been like a Call of Duty type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where people
Definitely.
they just make it
Most
for money.
definitely, Yeah.
But their games are just not good anymore. They just copy other games now.
Okay.
Especially ever since Odyssey.
Here's the
or
thing.
Not Odyssey, the one before then. Origins. Origins is just
Origins.
is Witcher
Egypt.
3 Lite. That's all it is. It just copied Witcher 3. That's it.
I want to hear what Luke has to
And
say.
so
about
they're
this.
just not
okay,
good.
listen. I do
Okay, go ahead.
I do agree with you. I hate that Assassin's Creed is turning into an RPG. I hate that because I think they need a linear story for the games to work. But have you played any of the games since 4?
I played
I
Odyssey.
completely played through them all.
I was like halfway through
That's
Odyssey.
1.
I was halfway through Odyssey. I played
And you
like
played
a quarter
maybe 20
of
minutes.
Origins.
You played 20 minutes of Origin, probably. Yeah.
And it barely ran well on my Xbox.
See, I think
That's
I
two
think
of the
you're
four,
just
5 of them
buying
that came
into.
out.
I think you're just buying into what other people are saying.
No, it's not
because
because I don't listen
two of
to
the
what anybody
games-
says.
No, listen.
I'm gonna talk last. Just
Yeah,
continue
you do.
your 2 cents, and I'll stop talking.
Two of the games between them, three of the games between them. So Unity, between Black Flag and the one now, Unity, Syndicate, and Origins. I all replayed recently, and they're all fantastic games. People say they're not good games, maybe because they have very opinionated ideas on. First of all, Unity is called a bad game because it was really buggy at launch. Not anymore. Right now, it's a friggin' stand-up game. Right? It's great. It's fantastic. I loved playing it. I do play it every so often still. Syndicate was more lighthearted than all the other Assassin's Creed games. And I think a lot of people disliked it because of that. Because it was kind of a change in tone. And that is why a lot of people disliked it.
Luke,
Because
can I
it was
ask you a
change in
question
tone
real
from-
quick?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Neymar, do you hear that?
Yeah.
Sorry, you just cut
Yeah,
out.
I hear
I didn't hear a word
grunts
you just
every
said.
time Luke talks. I hear a
Luke,
grunt at the end.
I feel like we might have
Mm-hmm.
to re-record everything you just said. Not everything you just said. Every 2 seconds, Luke, you went, and so yeah, and then and then and it
Sorry, I
like
can't tell
Sorry,
you doing
I'm-
it on purpose.
I'm
I couldn't tell if he was doing that on purpose
I need
or
to
not.
work on it.
yeah, I know,
Oh, he
I
just
know
keeps
it
on-
No,
is.
it's a
So
tick
I was
tab.
just like, I couldn't.
Oh,
But I was looking at your
yeah.
screen trying to see it, and I didn't see you doing it. So
I was
making
scared that
sure
his mic was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can his mic something was wrong. I was like, okay,
No,
it's
it's just
no
a
worries.
You
tick.
can continue, you
When
can
I talk a
continue.
lot, I do
Okay,
that.
it's no worries. But he's
Um,
also very mad right now, so I feel like that's why the tick's coming out.
it's coming up.
No, it's
He's
just when
getting
I
angry.
talk a lot. It's just when I
Yeah.
talk a lot.
All right, as you were saying.
Yeah, so a lot of people dislike Syndicate. A lot of people dislike Syndicate because it was more lighthearted than the other games. And both of those games were really good games. Like, I liked them a lot. Some gameplay mechanics I disagreed with, some story choices I disagreed with, whatever. I think Origins was also a really good game. The one thing I didn't like was the gameplay mechanics. I don't like that it's becoming into like an RPG kind of gameplay style. And the same thing with Valhalla. I'm enjoying Valhalla a lot, the most recent one so far.
Again,
I don't like that
for
it's
our
kind of
audience,
an RPG.
Valhalla is the Viking
Newest
game.
one.
Most recent.
Yeah.
Viking game. I really don't like the direction they're moving as far as gameplay goes. I hated Odyssey, so you got me there. I hated Odyssey.
I didn't even hate Odyssey,
really bad.
but go ahead.
I did. I hated it because it was a literal RPG. Like,
It was an RPG.
There's no way
light.
around
It was like
it.
an
I didn't
action
like it.
RPG, like a watered down RPG.
Yeah.
RPG.
and I don't think Assassin's Creed should go in that direction. I think Assassin's Creed needs to have a linear story. But as far as your complaints about the modern day, they've been remedying that because they're now surrounding the modern day around one character. The ancestors aren't related to her anymore, but
Which
they're
is fine.
still
I
focused
agree with
around
that.
her.
Okay,
So
well
now
that's
we're getting
good,
into
somewhat.
plot.
It's still but it's all focused around her. But I heard it because I didn't finish Odyssey. I didn't play a whole lot of Odyssey. I just really didn't like. I played maybe 10 hours.
And Odyssey is the
But I
one
really
that
didn't like it.
involves the
Ancient Greece.
ancient Greece. Yeah. Okay.
And it's the RPG one. So I didn't play a lot of it. I don't know much about the modern story in that one, but I've heard a lot of complaints. In Origins, which was ancient Egypt, I did like the modern day story. And in Unity and Syndicate, which were the two before that, modern day story was basically non-existent. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
But yeah, right now I really do like the modern day story in the most recent game, Valhalla. I've played about 25 hours so far, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far into the story I am, but but yeah, I think you just haven't played them enough. I think you might have heard reviews. And okay, and I want to say the reason I love these games so much, because this might be biased. First of all, they're the first video games I ever played.
Yeah,
which might be a lot of the reason I might view it in like a rose-colored lens or through a rose-colored lens, and also they're what got me into history. The Assassin's Creed games are what made me really passionate about learning about history and stuff. And they're also what made me passionate about video games. So yeah. I might be viewing it through like rose-colored lens, but
okay. I want to
your refutation.
I want to butt in before Naimur goes on. We could rant about games forever, so I don't want to keep talking about this forever. But I wanted to add, I agree with both of you, or I think Naimur agrees with this, that it shouldn't go in an RPG direction because it just doesn't have the gameplay systems to do it. Like, what makes Fallout great is, like, the leveling system. You can choose, like, what traits you want to get, and you can, like, change your personality and your character build and all of these things.
I don't mind there being, like, a skill tree in Assassin's Creed.
I don't like
the Witcher-style combat in Assassin's Creed. I think Assassin's Creed combat
and
parkour
feel like
should be more grounded. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it has the necessary system.
I think it just needs to be more grounded.
Yeah.
I think, because, like, in all the recent games before Origins, which was when the RPG stuff started to kind of take off, it was a much more grounded, like, people took maybe 2 or 3 hits and they died, basically. Maybe tops 4. But in these most recent games, you can hit an enemy, especially in Odyssey. Odyssey was so unbalanced, it's crazy. But
I mean, you are
in the most recent games, you could hit an enemy 5 or 6 times. Well, no, but it was so unbalanced against you. Like, you could hit an enemy 30 or 40 times and it'd be perfectly fine. Maybe lose half of their health.
Mm-hmm.
So Odyssey was just a bad game, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I just don't like the RPG style of gameplay for these games.
Okay.
And also, I wish the parkour was better. They should have just sticked with Unity's gameplay, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right. Let me just name my 2 cents in, and then we'll go to the final. I think I have one last one.
Let's wrap it up, because I don't want to talk about this forever, because we're going to bore people.
Don't worry, I won't go too long. I won't too long. All right. So basically, I actually personally liked Odyssey. I thought it was okay. It was pretty fun to play. Like, the story was actually pretty interesting too. It wasn't too bad. I couldn't play it anymore just because I just lost the time to play it. And
it makes sense. Yeah.
I actually liked the change in combat systems because it felt like God of War like, so it was pretty fun. Like, I think those are pretty good combat systems. But I just think overall it just doesn't feel like there's any heart or passion in the series anymore. And especially it started when they got into the next gen with like Unity and stuff. Like, obviously I think the bugs were part of it, the reason why I thought it was so bad, but I also don't like actually pay attention to the reviews that much. I was just thinking, like, you know, it's just, like, I feel like each game had its own gimmick, right? So like Syndicate was just like, oh, you can play as multiple assassins now. Like, okay, fine. But then it's like all these other things, like, they just felt like half-baked open world experiences, which is just basically what Ubisoft makes.
Maybe straying too much from the original.
At this point, I think it's lost the whole point of the games in the first place. But I mean, it's a given when you're making it year in and year out, so it's whatever. Okay, so next topic.
Yeah, see, that makes sense, but
let Luke.
I just want to
small thing.
I just want to clarify something. I love the Assassin's Creed games, the most modern the most recent Assassin's Creed games, because of the Discover Tours. Basically, they remove all the combat elements and they basically just make it an open world history lesson. Basically, I love that about the 3 most recent games. The one for Valhalla hasn't come out yet. It probably will early next year. But the 3 most recent games have or will have that system, and I really love that. I really love it.
That is cool.
Okay.
And I just love. I said it before, but I love history.
Yeah, for sure.
I just love games set in historical, and I love history, and I love video games. So, and I just love stories. You know.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, it combines Luke's
so I mainly said this. I mainly said it in this way, like, because it's a hot take to piss off Luke. Like, that was the primary reason I said it, because I was coming up with these on the spot.
No, your points are valid. Your criticisms are valid, but I just think that you might not be listening to reviews, but you might be listening more to background noise.
Maybe.
Because you haven't played Unity, Syndicate, Origins, or Valhalla, or any of the three.
I just remember seeing
the first
like
4 games.
I just remember seeing like like every
have
year
you-
they do they do the preview, right? Where it's like, oh, this is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I remember specifically for Syndicate when like these YouTubers had gotten early copies of it and they were just playing it. They weren't talking bad about the game. They were just showing it because they clearly were trying to be nice because they were being sponsored. But I was like, I was like, dude, like what is this? This is like not like it's not fun anymore. It just looks like a cheap grab now. It's like they're just doing this for money's sake.
Yeah.
Which is it is Ubisoft, right? Like they do that a lot. I don't know. I mean, I do like
But
Ubisoft.
I think you really-
that.
I think you should try them.
I think you should
Before
just. I think you just play the game because you haven't played any. Just come to my house one day and play them with me, because I think you would like them.
I would like to
because
play
they're all
the
good
Ezio
games,
trilogy again,
except Odyssey.
but we'll see. I would like to play the Ezio,
The Ezio trilogy. I just replayed all of them, or I just played all of them for the first time. I love like all of them.
I loved Assassin's Creed 2. I thought Assassin's
wanted
Creed
to
2
say
was really
that-
good. It's one of my favorite ones. 4 is really good too.
I think Brotherhood is my favorite. I think
never
Brotherhood,
played
or Brotherhood is definitely the best. If not, I
What makes-
see
which one's
a very
Brotherhood?
big distinction.
Brotherhood's the one
Brotherhood
after
is
2.
the second Ezio
Yeah,
trilogy.
so it's basically
Yeah.
Ezio continued.
It's set in Renaissance Rome,
Okay.
as opposed to the Italian countryside, which is where
Yeah.
2 is set,
Okay.
or North Italy. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, next take, because we could talk about
Yeah.
this for hours.
Yep.
All right, so I wanted to end off on a bang, and this is not really a bang, so I'm sorry. Because I just,
We can
I
talk
was coming
about
up
one more
with some
thing
of them
before
already.
maybe we should have ended
I
up with
have-
the last one.
I don't know. We can
Yeah.
figure something out. I have a.
No, I'm
few
talking about
things
the ending of my No Nuance
that- Oh,
November
of your hot
takes.
takes. I see.
Yeah, we'll talk more about
Yeah.
the other stuff. That's fine. But I'm just
Okay.
talking about this one. Okay, the final one is, it's no longer edgy to say both parties are the same thing, just with different faces.
Yeah, that's
I've
just
heard it
false,
too many
in my
times.
opinion. It's just false. It's just not a true statement.
Well, I think to that, it's like, sure, they're both relatively, they're helping lobbyists. It's just different interests, but it's relatively the same machine, right? And it's like, sure, but what does that accomplish at that point? Right? It's like, so I'm just
What
not
does
going to
it?
vote.
What
then.
does it accomplish?
Or I'm going to
Sorry,
vote
what does it
libertarian.
accomplish to say that? You're like,
No,
yeah,
like, what
okay,
does
I see
that
what you mean.
mindset accomplish? Like, just don't do anything then? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
'Cause, they're the two machines.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just think, it's mainly coming from liberal people that say this, like ultra-liberal college students that, learn what capital or communism is and socialism is
Yeah.
and Marxism. And they're just like, it's like, it's just the Democratic Party is just the Republican Party with a different face. And it's like, I mean, the overarching, like the way they do their stuff, yeah, sure. But like, I mean,
Sure,
in
maybe
terms
they
of
are
mindset, they're
just as
rapidly different.
corrupt, or just as like maybe both parties
Yeah,
are.
no,
are
I think it's
corrupt and
maybe they're
lobbying
just
against
as they might be just as corrupt, or they
Yeah,
might
yeah.
have the
agree.
same like broad interests to gain money, or to gain power. But
But the
way they go
policies.
about accomplishing the
Yeah.
why not go if you even think they're both the same, why not go with the party who at least pretends to be progressive?
Yeah.
I guess.
You know?
It's like that whole
I
thing
mean,
where it's
obviously,
like
if you have
pretends to-
unprogressive values or not progressive values, then yeah, you should go with the Republicans.
yeah, exactly. I think he's, but
Right,
we're
yeah,
talking
you
about
know what I mean.
the people who complain that the parties are
They're usually all fake leftists, right?
Yeah.
They're usually always liberal. But why not go with the party who at least pretends to be progressive? Because then, if you vote those guys into power, there's a chance that somebody who is actually progressive gets voted into power,
yeah,
right? So then that might bring about real change.
or just
might bring
or
about,
just even on a small
Yeah.
scale, the type of policies that each like you may think that both parties like they're the exact same thing with the same face, blah 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 blah. They all want money, but the type of policies they enact that truly affect our day-to-day lives are different.
Are completely
like,
different,
For
yeah.
example, I'm pretty sure the Trump administration got rid of or added some legislation, either one, that prevented trans people from being able to be in the military. Like, that affects their lives.
No, that's actually not true.
It's
That's
not?
not actually true. They
Or was it-
prevented trans people who are still transitioning from being in the military.
Okay. Then there was
If
something...
you already transitioned, you can enlist, but yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of healthcare. Was there something they did where, like, you can be denied healthcare?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
I don't know.
It's, no, it
Clearly,
was-
I'm
I
not
think you're
educated
talking
on the
about the
topic,
one-
but...
I think you're talking about, like, that foster homes and stuff like that can discriminate the couples if they are same-sex gendered or not.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I just know that
That might
there
be- that
are
might have been it,
policies
yeah.
that do affect people's daily lives that these parties have different views on. So just saying they're the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, like, sure, on a grand scale, but our day-to-day lives are impacted And so even on a local level, like if you're not electing local leaders that support like, you know, your like, oh, they want to build a park near your house, or they want to destroy that park and install a factory, like that kind of stuff impacts your day-to-day life. And it just, I don't know.
Well, you could argue that locally these parties are actually much more similar because, you know, these people still live in that town, right? Whereas if you're like running for president of the United States, you're just doing stuff to appease literally all of America, or do stuff to all of America. So it's so broad. But if you're like in like a specific town, like you're running for the state senate or something, right? Like, you know, you could argue that those two parties, like, they're pretty similar because they both have similar interests. Like, maybe they both hate, or like, let's say,
both
like,
want to do good
in
for
city
their
council,
community.
they both hate that one roadblock on that one street, right?
Yeah. It's just
That-
how
this
do
is
they
bare
want to go
bones
around
example,
it?
But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my final
I
topic.
just think saying that they're the same. I just think that saying that they're the same party on a national scale is just immature because it shows you're not really actually educated about it, and it's also just stupid and incorrect.
And-
Factually incorrect.
I think what Naimur's pointing out is people also say it just to be edgy and think like they're being woke by saying, "Oh, the system's rigged
And
against
also,
us." It's like,
it's
yeah,
a
we
reasoning
know,
for
but
inaction.
at least some of us are
It's a
trying to
reasoning
change
for
it.
inaction.
You know,
Yeah.
But it's a true reasoning for inaction. Like, not more so in the 2020 election, but in 2016, right? Like, a lot of people were just like, I just can't vote for Hillary, man.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to vote. Like, just don't do it whatsoever.
Yeah, if in 2016, if I were old enough to vote, I probably wouldn't have voted. Like, because I didn't. First of all, I was like 14 at the time, 14 or 15 at the time. I had literally nothing about politics, but I wouldn't have voted because I thought both candidates were just bad.
yeah, horrible choices.
You know.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
they're just
personally,
bad
I
choices.
just, I mean, I would vote, like, no matter what, because my parents have instilled that value, because I've seen them vote in countless elections, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I always was excited when I was a kid. I was like, oh, when I'm 18, I'll finally get to vote. I'm gonna be able to do it, you know?
Yeah.
But I
it
think
might have been. It probably would have been different if I were old enough to vote in that election. But like, right now or right back then, I wouldn't have voted.
Yeah.
Because both candidates were just terrible.
Well, I don't blame
And
people.
I still view them as both being awful.
I don't
Yeah.
necessarily blame people for voting.
So I don't
for
blame
Trump
people for not voting
in that election, you know, because I just understand that Hillary is so.
There's no way you could have. No way you could have known how bad he could have been.
But then
I mean,
at the same time, is if you're just like not, if your argument, you know, I think a lot of people that were voting for him this time around were just like, the left's crazy. We can't, like, the left needs to stop.
Yeah.
They're just discounting literally everything that's happened from the alt right, you know. It's like,
I also
basically
think it's a
giving
lot
them
of
free
single
rein.
issue voters.
Yeah,
it
that too.
is.
I think it's a lot of single issue voters too,
embarrassing.
because my girlfriend was telling me about her. She's Mexican. Her family is Mexican. She was telling me that lots of her mom's friends, they're all like Catholic or devout Christian.
Yeah.
Because they're from Latin America. But that was a joke for the record. Maybe blur that out. But they're
Because
all
no one laughed, or because it might be
devoutly-
offensive.
This
both.
time next
they're
week,
all
Luke will
devout
have
Christian
no
or
girlfriend.
Catholic.
Is that offensive?
They're all
Oh,
devout
okay.
Christian / Catholic. So most of them are extremely against abortion, and they voted for Donald Trump because he's against abortion. A lot of them say that if Joe Biden came out against abortion, they would have voted for Joe Biden. If Joe Biden came out against abortion as well, they would have voted for
They would
Joe
have
Biden.
voted for Joe Biden.
I just think yes. I think there's a lot of voters like that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
It's
No, there for sure is. It's just also, it's annoying though, because when you think about it, just this last topic, or in terms of politics, and then we'll go to y'all's topics, because I know I've kind of hogged mine. It's just, like, the idea is you want less abortions, right? So, clearly, what you should be doing is making it much more commonplace to learn about sexual relations and stuff like that, so that kids
Yeah.
don't make
Improve
mistakes
sex
and have
education.
unwanted teen
Improve.
pregnancies in general, right?
You know which party is against sex education?
Republican Party, yeah, with
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood and everything.
Well, that's what he's
The
pointing
So
out.
it's
Republican
like-
Party.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood, you know,
Yeah.
they're
They're-
against that too. And, like, obviously now Republicans are against that, like, just the people, because the party itself is against that. Not necessarily because they necessarily know what
Look,
Planned
Because
Parenthood
nobody
is.
knows what Planned
toys.
Parenthood actually is.
But yeah, and then
Yeah.
another thing is, like, you know, another topic is if you really want to prevent having abortion, or like decrease the number of abortions, making it legal overall makes it less Like, because the thing is,
Likely to happen,
if you ban
yeah.
abortion, more people are going to do it just based on statistics alone because they can't, like, it'll just be unsafe, right? So if
Yeah.
it's a much more legal
Or
avenue,
at least the same amount of people would be doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
It'll
amount of
just be
people, but
much more dangerous.
Yeah, it's much more dangerous. So,
and so
but
more
some people
will
view that
die,
as a
right?
punishment. That's what you deserve.
Because it's not right. That's what happened. That's what happened to prostitution, and that's the funny thing is a lot of people use that exact same argument for banning guns or against to argue against banning guns.
Yeah,
We
but
shouldn't
it's not
ban
reversed.
guns
Even though they're
because then
against,
they're just gonna
even
do
though
it
even though
another
they're
way.
for banning abortion. Yeah, even though they're for banning abortion.
Yeah, like I personally
totally
think
wouldn't
guns should
apply
be
to-
much more. Like I don't think guns should have heavy restrictions on them. I think it should be harder, or like it should be a much more involved process to get a gun. I don't think that
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
decreasing regulate or like increasing regulation of guns in terms of selling them. Like that doesn't make any sense. I think if you truly want to, you have to make it harder so that these people can't get guns. And you also increase education on guns, right? So that people, especially from the left and stuff like that, if they don't know anything about guns, at least they have an idea. Because I feel like no matter what, if you're left or right, when it comes to guns, if like a person on the left side and the right side both know guns very well, they have a commonality with each other. And their differences in that moment do not align because they both understand how a gun works and they have a respect for it, right? So they understand the importance of keeping it safe and all these things like that. But the problem is you have so many of these people on the left that are trying to get rid of it because they've never owned a gun in their lives and they just see it as violence, right? So it's like
They've never shot a gun in their life. They've never
so it's stuff like that.
I think if you want to talk about guns in a political sense, you should take a gun safety course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or shoot a gun.
Or you should just be willing to
Take a gun safety
understand
course
why
and shoot
people
a gun.
have it in the first place, right? Like why people
Yeah,
do that.
because a lot of people, if something happens on their property, they cannot wait for the police because the police will take 10 or there might be one police officer for the entire county. Like it might take half an hour to arrive.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of things like if somebody breaks in, they can't wait for the cops. If you live in a big city like most liberals and Democrats do, that's not an issue. But most Republicans don't live there.
Yeah.
And that would be an issue for a lot of Republicans who are for or against the restriction of gun sales.
Yeah, then
But
my
even then, I think most
sorry.
Republicans are. I think the Republican Party used a lot of scare tactics because most Republicans think that every single liberal or every single Democrat wants to take away all your guns, but that's not true. Most Democrats are in favor of
reform.
just controlling guns, reforming the way guns are held or sold in this country.
Yeah.
And I think that's fucked up.
Well, I think that's the whole by nature, just in terms of the party politics or just what the parties stand for is like you have to reform.
See,
they want to reform, or the idea of reform is something that liberals want to do. They want to fix things, or they want to change it up, right? Whereas Republicans want to do as much, or just in conservatism in general, they strive to have as little change of rules as possible.
The status quo. They want the status quo.
Uphold the status quo.
That's just what conservatism is. Really.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just status quo.
All right. Let's shift topics, Daniel.
Yeah, I was about to pull you guys both in and say, okay, we could talk about this for hours. This is another thing we could talk about for hours, but I wanted to.
We don't want to be too political, even though that was pretty political.
Yeah, but this is why our podcast logo is the way it is. Because we always just delve into this. I wanted to talk about how I fixed my desk up. Can I talk about that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you guys.
Nice transition, Daniel.
And there's no transition. We're done with hot takes.
Yeah, we're done with hot takes. Except for another one. Your mother doesn't love you. She never did.
Man.
Got him.
Here's a hot take. No Nut November is for incels. Okay, anyways. So, I got rid of the... You guys know how I had that shelf right attached to my desk? There was a shelf on my desk that, stuck out from the wall. Like
Oh, that was stuck
6 inches.
out. I thought that was a part of your desk.
It was a part of my desk. It was, somewhat attached to it from underneath. So, the issue was... My computer barely fit on my desk. I would have about 2 inches from the edge of the desk to my computer, and then the computer would be up against the back of the computer would be up against the shelf. So I didn't have much room to work. If I'm recording with the podcast, I have my mic in front of my computer now. So anyways, I got rid of that. It had a whole bunch of souvenirs and stuff on it. I got rid of it, and I got a new shelf that goes up above now. And the amount of space I have on
It
my
looks
desk
nice.
now, it's just so open. I'm gonna get some sound
does look
foam.
nice. It
I'm
looks
gonna
good.
put sound foam on the wall where those are. You know, it's funny. I had that bar on my wall.
Yeah.
You can kind of see 2 dots of paint. It's been on my
Yeah,
wall so
yeah.
long that the old paint coat is still underneath. So, anyways,
yeah.
I really like how much more open my desk feels. I was gonna ask you guys.
All fun and
What
games
is your-
until the shelf on top falls down and breaks everything.
Yeah, what does your ideal like bedroom look like? Because I've always kind of wanted to like move stuff around and always find like the best. Like, what would you guys
First
fix
of all,
about your bedroom?
I don't want to have.
Mhm.
First of all, I don't want to have 2 beds. I want 1 bed, which is something I've never had in a bedroom because my younger brother has always lived in the same been in the same bedroom as me until very recently.
Yeah.
So 1 bed would be great.
Mhm.
Also, it would depend on what the house or apartment looks like.
Mhm.
Luke, I have an idea.
I have a very strong.
Since you have 2 beds right now
Yeah.
and your brother doesn't live in that room anymore, why don't you just
Bunk it.
combine the beds into one?
Yeah, bunk
Mega
it,
bed.
bro.
No, not
definitely
not
could,
bunk it.
but-
Just literally
Oh,
combine
just make a
them.
big
So it's
bed?
both
Yeah,
cots
just
together.
push them together and get a big comforter. Yeah,
Yeah.
or a big like fitted sheet or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I've thought about it, but I also don't want to do that right now
Yeah.
because that would take a lot of effort, and I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
But
And it's not like he has anything he's gonna fill the
um,
room with right now. Like they're not gonna go out and buy him a desk.
exactly.
But it'd be mega
Yeah.
bed. Think about that.
Yeah.
I've also never really had. I just kind of want a place. I don't care what it really looks like. I just want a place where I can be by myself because I really value my privacy and I value like being on my own. I was telling Daniel about this earlier, but since he and I got home from lunch with an old friend of ours, maybe 5 hours and 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I haven't had a minute to myself, and I feel so stressed out right now.
I get that.
Just because I really value my time alone.
He's been busy doing a lot of
I like to
things.
read.
he also
I like
has-
to read. I like to write.
Yeah.
Or even since. So, we left to hang out with our friend at 2:15.
Yeah.
Before that, I was tutoring for an hour. I was tutoring 1 to 2. Between 2:05 and 2:15, I was talking to my parents. Then I left with you. We stayed there for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been with my family, and then I've been with you guys.
Yeah.
So for about 8 hours and 40 minutes or so, I've been, or 9 hours and 40 minutes or so,
Yeah.
I haven't had a single minute to myself,
Mhm.
except for maybe
How do-
driving in the car for a little bit. But
So I'm curious. Do
I
you-
just feel really stressed because I really like being alone.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Do you like
Yeah.
make your room just like a very like personal, private space? Like everything is just kind of like,
I would.
yeah,
I would surround it. If I could, I would put like a TV in there with an Xbox or a Roku or something. I would just make it a place where I can be alone and where I could do things that
have
interest
an area
me
to
on
sit
my
and
own.
read on your own.
Yeah,
alone.
exactly.
Yeah,
I would just make it things that interest me, so I can just have my own personal space
Yeah.
where that I don't have to share with anybody.
Naimur, what about you?
Because that's
Oh, sorry.
that's just what I value. Yeah.
Well,
I'm just
wouldn't
curious
I
what you
think,
wanna ask.
Luke? Do you think part of that's because you grew up in a family of 6 total people, right?
I
Is
would
that
say
right?
so.
Am I doing
Yeah.
that right?
I think that's a
Yeah.
big part of it.
That's probably a big
I've
part.
never, because up until maybe a year ago, I'm 19 years old. Up until about a year ago, I literally have never had a minute alone.
Yeah, I can't.
Because
imagine
my
it.
brother
It's
has
so
always
weird.
shared a room with me. Yeah. Because I've always shared a room with my brother, basically.
He had to,
So even
he
if
had
I'm
to
in my
go to the
bedroom,
bathroom with his
I'm
brother.
with somebody else.
He would
Yeah, shower together.
everything, the whole.
But it was really weird though, because
Yeah.
they would
So
always
I
sleep
just
in the
really-
same bed, even though there was 2 of them.
And even though there was 2 beds, they always slept in the same bed.
They always slept in the same one. That was the weird part.
And we were always naked for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird
I
family
just-
things.
Yeah, I think it is just because I've literally almost for my entire life,
Yeah.
there's always been somebody else nearby. I just really value time alone.
No, I get
because that I've never had it before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that more, like, because my siblings are so much older than me. They have a big age difference, and both of them were out of the house by the time I basically entered like middle or high school.
Yeah.
So, like, I basically had, like, my room.
So you're kind of the opposite, I would
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I have my own room. I have my own area. I can walk around the house as I please. You know, my parents go to work, and then when I come home, stuff like that. At least when I was in school. And then, like, I always notice, and I always take it for granted, as soon as my sister or my aunt or brother well, before Corona, when my sister would visit mainly, because my brother wouldn't visit as much, like, that would be the more annoying part, because, you know.
For Naimur's brother lives in Bangladesh.
Or
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the
time. Or lived. I don't know. Has he moved back officially right now? Or
no. I mean, he's been here because of Corona, so who knows how long he'll stay. Maybe he'll stay here for good.
Obviously,
who knows?
he's been stuck here for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
makes sense.
My sister, you know, she comes back to visit every now and then for the holidays and stuff like that. And, you know, like, you know, we only have 2 cars usually. And, you know, my dad works out of town. So, like, sometimes, like, with this, so he has his car there. But, like, when he comes back, that's not as much of an issue. But my sister, she always wants to drive as soon as she gets back here. So it's like, you know, she has to take my car. And I'm just, like, always like, oh, my God. Because, you know, yeah, like, normally it's like, it's not necessarily the fact that, like, she wants to go to those places. It's that she just wants to use my car, you know? It's just, like, it annoys me so much. Because it's, like...
Just an inconvenience to you. Not that... You don't care that she wants to go out to these blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, that part of it. But it's, like, sharing. I just hate sharing. This is why I talked about this with someone. I was, like, I'm really scared about being a parent because I just genuinely hate sharing. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with a kid. Because my dad, like, ever since I was a kid, like, my parents have always, you know, they're like, oh, you know, I'm not that hungry, eat the rest of this food, you know, if it's, like, a snack or something, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, they'd always, like, have my interest upheld over theirs, just to make sure I was okay. I was always full.
Yeah.
I was hungry and stuff like that, right? And, like, I don't know if I'll ever be
Neighbor
like that
would be,
with
like,
a kid.
eating a
I have
snack,
no idea, man.
and their child would be like, oh, can I have some? No, get away, bro. This is mine. Get your own.
I was like, bro, didn't I just go grocery shopping with you? Go get it from the pantry yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Like, or, like, not even that. I'd be like, I'd hide ice cream sandwiches. Like, dude, this is not for you. Stop eating my ice cream sandwiches.
Get away. This is mine.
Or even worse, like, imagine, I assume if I become, like, because hopefully if I play video games when I get older, like, if they become gamers too, I'm like, bro, it's my time on the Xbox 780,000 or whatever. Series XL Plus, whatever. It's like,
just get them 2 Xboxes.
The Xbox
done.
Yeah, obviously, but that's so expensive too.
Wait, what were you going to say? You were going to talk about that?
I wanted to say about my parents. They've always, because my parents both grew up poor. My mom grew up in rural Ireland, like literally rural
I think
Ireland.
we talked about this already.
She grew up. We did. She grew up on a cattle farm, so it just depended on when cows could be taken to market, when they were old enough to be taken to market.
And plus, when you factor in the potato famine,
that's when. Yeah, because they're that old. And my dad grew up in the suburbs of a big city, of Dublin. He grew up outside of Dublin, but his family, they weren't necessarily poor, but they weren't well off either.
Yeah.
Like my grandpa, he ran a butcher shop, and then he turned it into a convenience store before I was born. But they both grew up poor. And I just appreciate that they've always had our interests at heart, because my parents came to America because my dad had a job, because they had a good job, or because he had a good job offer, and he's taken every chance he can get to move up. And right now he works at a big company. I don't want to say what company in case he gets in trouble or whatever, but he works at a big company and he gets paid a very hefty salary, but he does work a lot, and that is a
trade-off,
a downside. But
Luke's dad is Michael Dell, the owner of Dell Computers. His dad is Stephen R. Apple, the owner of Apple.
Owner of Apple.
Isn't that what Trump said or Pence said? Steve Apple? Or Tim Apple. He said Tim Apple.
Yeah.
I've been speaking with Tim Apple. Yeah.
Oh my god. Man. So, okay, I didn't really get to... We kind of went off topic. Do you guys want to talk about how you would fix up your rooms?
Okay, so Luke did his, so I guess I'll do mine. Personally, I like a lot of space in a room. Personally, it's my space. I like a lot of open area.
I agree.
I just recently, like last year or 2 years, a year and a half ago, I got a desk, like an actual desk, like I had the same issue with you, Daniel, where basically it was like kind of like a desk with a shelf on the desk.
Yeah.
So it basically limited
Yeah.
the space on like the actual desk
Yeah.
area. And man, when I got a desk from like IKEA, just like some random desk from IKEA, it completely changed my life, especially with homework. Because I used to do homework on my bed and stuff like that. There's just no like way to like. It's so much better because like,
It's just not comparable.
it
It's
changes
just, you can't,
your
you
efficiency.
can't.
It's so
Yeah.
just having so much space in and stuff like that. It's awesome. And I definitely need a pretty. It doesn't even have to be like a nice desk. It just has to be. It could, for all I know, it could be a fold-out table. But like a fold-out table as a desk. Like I really don't care. And then I think maybe a better chair, but I don't even complain about my chair that much. My chair's pretty old, but I don't really care. I think personally, I would like a different bed frame. The people in the audience can't see, but my bed frame. Basically, when I was in 3rd grade, when we moved houses, my parents went to like rooms to go or something, and they were like, "Oh, maybe he'll play sports when he gets older, so let's get him a baseball bat bed frame." It's literally just a rack of baseball bats.
Yeah, for people who can't
on each
see,
side.
it's just the bed frame is just a bunch of baseball bats vertically, like strung together with like a wooden board. So it's like
And my parents, I was like, I was a fat kid in 3rd grade, and I was like, "Mom, I don't play sports." She's like, "Oh, but you might." And I mean, I did play sports in like middle school, but it was football, so it didn't apply to me.
So it didn't really relate.
Yeah. So the baseball still didn't help. And, I'm now a freshman in college, and now when I come home, I still sleep in a bed with a cot that has baseball bats on
Made
the
out of
sides.
baseballs.
So I was just like a normal one. It doesn't even have to be a nice one, just a normal baseball side. I need a nice nightstand, though. That is a big deal. It needs to have like plugs in it, has to have like all that stuff in that, because I want to charge my phone. I want it easily handed to me, like it's just easy, right? Maybe a couch, who knows? Like just or a beanbag. I've never had a beanbag.
Or like a chair or
Definitely wanna see
something
what
to
it's
sit
like.
in, something to like relax in. Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I have my bathroom is literally in my room. Like it's not Jack and Jill. It's just in my room. Like just like there's a door into my bathroom. I love that. It's a very underrated part of my house that I completely forget about. So that's pretty cool.
One other thing.
What were you saying, Dan?
I was gonna say something that you guys don't have an issue with. I have the tiniest closet in the world. You cannot walk into my closet. You cannot take a single step into my closet. You open the door and the bar to hold all of my clothes on the hanger is in your face. So that's one thing. Like I have so much difficulty.
That's a good point too. I forgot about that. My closet's not. It's not. It's a decent sized closet. Like you just walk in. It's not like a.
Naimur stores most of his clothes on the floor. Actually.
That too. Yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
Like from the previous house we lived in, my closet literally, it was like a room almost. Kind of.
Yeah.
It was like just like a hallway, a small little corridor, and there's windows in the room too. So during the day, I didn't even need a light. Like you just go in. Oh my god, that was such a great closet. I love that closet, man. Like to this day, it was just as good as the room almost. It was so good. I love that closet so much. God, that closet was so good.
I'm
dude.
lucky
I
because
don't understand. I'm
lucky
like
because
orgasming
my
about the closet right now. Dude, it was so good.
My closet used to be kind of small. It was probably the size of like a queen bed. But then we discovered I don't remember how we figured it out, but my dad might have found the blueprints of the house or something, and we found out that behind the wall of my closet, there's a whole extension of the closet. It basically doubled the size of the closet.
Yeah.
So, like, we literally tore down that wall.
Someone was trying to
refitted that entire thing. Apparently,
It's a body hiding.
so now my closet is like really big.
Yeah.
Was your
So
dad
bigger
like,
than a wall. I don't know if it's actually really really big, but like,
was your dad like Mr. Contractor, tear down this wall? No.
yes, exactly.
Like Reagan.
They reenacted.
Symbolic.
I wanted to say I didn't actually go into specifics of what I wanted in a room.
Oh yeah.
I said like I want a TV. It would actually depend on if I'm living like in an apartment with roommates, or if I'm living in a house or an apartment by myself.
Assume by yourself.
was
I
living
wanted
with
to do
roommates-
by yourself. Like, what's your
Okay,
most
by
ideal?
myself, then I'd want a big bed with nightstands on either side and a bathroom connected to it. Because if I'm living by myself,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about any of the stuff I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I would
That's
have
fair,
probably
'cause you'll have
a
it,
workspace outside the bedroom. I would probably have a TV, all that. But if I was living with roommates, I would want the TV and a desk and a bathroom.
I think
I mean,
yeah.
I think, like, because I had a TV in my room for a little bit of time, and it's pretty overrated. I'm be real, because well, my TV was like a moderate. It was like maybe a 30.
Yeah, maybe
to 40
the
something
TV
inch
wouldn't be. Yeah.
And so I used to play my
Maybe
games
the TV
there.
wouldn't be a priority.
Like,
but
I would sit on my bed, just like lay in my bed. I wouldn't even lay, because when you lay, you can't even see it properly either way. So you have to like sit upright. So you're not even like truly. It's just like a harder chair, and then you're just playing. And TV, it's like not. It doesn't really hit as hard. So I just go to the game room or whatever, or like the other TV rooms, and just like lay there. But I think that would change if I just like if I just like dedicated like a wall to a TV, like a gigantic TV, you know, or like a mini projector type thing. I feel like that would be pretty dope. Like that would be cool.
I think
that would be a big thing.
See,
too.
okay. So a TV in the bedroom would be pretty low on the priority list, even if I lived with other people, because if I just sat in bed watching Netflix, even just Netflix on the TV, or playing video games on the TV, for even 2 hours at a time, I would feel lazy as hell.
Yeah.
Like I'd feel like a slob because you're just laying there, right?
You know what's the weird thing?
If I was, it'd be a different story if I was. I was gonna say it'd be a different story if I was sitting upright in a couch or something.
Yeah.
But
gaming especially.
What were you saying?
Like what's crazy now is we really don't even need TVs in our bedrooms. You know why? Because like an iPhone, like not even an iPad, just an iPhone is kind of replaced that. Like I don't know how much you guys just watch. I mean, Daniel has an iPad, so he probably watches a bunch of stuff on Netflix.
you know what?
On his iPad.
You think I'd watch stuff on my iPad? I spend way more time watching stuff on my iPhone, like in bed.
Exactly.
See,
watching stuff on my iPhone.
Yeah,
we talked about this.
You put the phone
little
right
while
up to you, and it's like a big TV screen, just like in terms of depth perception. So it's like that's replaced that. I don't know how they'll do like video games though. I feel like you need like VR to do that.
What were you gonna say?
That would
we
be
talked
cool.
about how did we?
I
Talk
don't think
about
you'd.
this?
We talked about this a couple months ago, actually, with our other friends, with two of our other friends. But I don't actually use my phone a lot. Like since I got TikTok, it's kind of gone up a little bit. But I've always just used my computer.
I don't understand that. I don't understand. Like I know I probably should.
For watching stuff, especially.
I just for whatever reason I just have like I just love watching things on my phone.
Well, for me, I was probably
I
the
prefer
same
watching
as Luke.
things.
Sorry, go ahead, Luke.
No, you can go.
All right. I mean, for
I don't
me,
really know what I was gonna say.
yeah, for me personally, like I was like Luke in middle or in elementary school. I would watch YouTube and stuff on my computer at the desk and stuff, and like I would primarily just use the computer. And also, I combined with I didn't have a smartphone, but I did have an iPad. But I primarily still use the computer.
Yeah.
But the problem is the computer was really terrible. Like it was really bad. Like it was an old Windows laptop. It would overheat constantly, and my dad had to like wipe the memory from it like 4 times because of a virus or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so he basically, because it's just a crappy Windows computer, and like I remember I was just like, this is too much work. Like I don't want to, because I felt like I was incidentally causing it, even though it's like it might not have been me. So I was just like, I'll just watch YouTube on the iPad now. And ever since then, like I just never stopped watching YouTube on my mobile like devices.
On your
Like it's very rare that I watch it at my desk, like just watching a YouTube video. Because I remember that used to be the whole thing. Like when I get home from school in 3rd grade, I'd be so excited. I'd go instantly to the game room, to the computer chair, and then just go on the computer and start watching whatever of my subscriptions uploaded that day. And like now, it's just I just do it like on my like iPad, like not even on my iPad, but my phone, like just laying on the couch or something, laying in my bed. Same thing with that. But
see, that's Daniel knows this about me, but or he's seen it in person. I usually just watch YouTube at my desk, or in our dorm room, in me and Daniel's dorm room. I have this black chair that I sit in when I'm like reading my book or when I'm watching.
It's way more comfy than a desk chair. It's a little more laid back than that.
It's way more comfortable. Like it's like a.
But he's still sitting.
I don't even know how to
he's still
describe
sitting
it.
there watching on his computer.
it's
But
like a
I like
beanbag, but
using
if
my-
it was actually shaped as a chair,
Yeah.
would that be a good way?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good way to describe it. I think, especially recently, the thing I like about using a computer is that if I think of something that I have to do, like some schoolwork I have to do, I could just do it
Yeah, that does make
with
sense.
the video playing in the background or something. That's especially right now. I don't really know why I've always just used my computer for recreation.
Yeah.
I really don't know why, like how that started or why I like it so much. I just maybe just my phone is too small.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just it.
That
All
could
right,
be.
so
And like
you
I don't want to go
argue-
blind like you two.
You argue that your phone, you don't use it that much. Okay? Put that to the test. we're gonna
I don't
say
use it as much.
I have my screen time
I
up
don't
right
use it as
now,
much.
and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna, I'm
pull
going
my
to say, it,
screen
but I
time
want
up.
Yeah.
You wanna
I
pull up
want
your
all
screen
y'all
time?
to say yours too. But I'm not gonna say
Okay.
it first. I'm gonna wait till
Well,
you guys.
I did say
I think-
that mine.
It's gone
Since I
up.
got TikTok, it has gone up.
Okay, excuses,
Yeah.
excuses.
But I don't
I think I'm gonna win.
Oh, you're gonna win for
for
most.
most.
I think so.
Okay, I have it.
I think I'm
going
gonna win. All
I
right.
think I'm gonna win.
Luke, go first.
Okay. 2 hours and 44 minutes daily average this week.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
Dano, you go.
I want you to go, man. I think I got more. Well, maybe
No,
not.
you go.
Okay. My daily average this week. It is Thanksgiving break, but 10 hours 34 minutes.
Oh, okay, mine's 9 hours and 52 minutes.
Yes, see, I knew I had more than you, dude. I am like addicted to my phone. People, I think it's a problem.
Okay, but big whoop! You beat me by 40 minutes, bro. That's like a.
and also, it's
calculation
not a
error.
flex that I spend that much time on my phone. That's horrible.
Mhm.
I've been very lazy.
For the
this
record,
Mhm.
for the record, just to prove that this week isn't an anomaly, because it definitely might have been, because I've been home, I've been spending a lot of time playing Xbox. Just want to put that out there. Last week my average was 2 hours 59 minutes. The week before that was 3 hours 12 minutes daily average.
Yeah.
So it's not, this week isn't an anomaly.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
wanted, and the week before that was 3.5 hours.
Actually, you know what's
So-
funny? Same thing for me, actually. If I go back a week... Wait, hold on. Yeah, if I
Mhm.
go back a week, it's not an anomaly. I still have 10 hours, 10 hours, 11 minutes last
Yeah.
week.
How do you
so
go
not
back
that
a week?
far off. You can scroll to the left.
You just, yeah,
when
you
you're,
just swipe left.
swipe left on the graph.
Yeah.
Okay, I used it for 15 hours one week or
Yeah.
one day.
One day.
Mhm.
Let's see what I did this day.
But no, but yeah, I
13
usually
hours.
average between 9 and 8 hours.
I have an
Mhm.
unhealthy
Yeah,
problem
so it's not
with my phone.
anomaly.
I'm just gonna say that I have.
Wait,
a
what's your
newfound
most used
addiction
app? So for this week, mine's TikTok. What's yours, Daniel?
This
Mhm.
week, hold on.
Yeah,
How do I do week?
it just shows like.
Here
in
we
the
go.
week.
Most used Twitch, 30 hours.
Okay, I don't watch Twitch, but so mine's TikTok and it's 16 hours, 16 hours and 48 minutes.
TikTok, I have
Mine
18
is-
hours this week. Guys, I have a problem.
Jeez.
I have
Mine
a
is
problem,
mine
man.
is TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Mine is TikTok. It's 7 hours 53 minutes. My second is Reddit, and it's 3 hours 43 minutes.
I think TikTok has actually replaced YouTube because I don't watch YouTube as much as I used to
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't have an appeal for YouTubers as much as I like the YouTubers I used to watch.
I watch it
Yeah.
very rarely.
Yeah.
I watch it like less than.
I look
both
at my
Twitch and
recommended, but
TikTok.
now it's like I'm just watching like recommended videos, not like actual channels anymore.
Mhm. I'm the
And
opposite actually.
TikTok
I only
kind of.
watch
I think
the-
TikTok just fixes my need now. It's
Mhm.
like I spend like 20 minutes on TikTok. That's equivalent to like
Mhm.
watching a YouTube video and a half.
Yeah.
And there's just
And
so much
you
variety.
You kind of
now.
get like
I
a
think
lot
that's
more
such a
content
bad.
because it's like faster. It's like fast paced, so it feels like it's more
Yeah.
content.
I'm interested. Okay, if you guys pull up your screen time for your computer, I want to see that.
I don't use it that much. Well, I also
Yeah,
don't use
it's
this.
not going to be
normally. I usually
anything.
use
I don't know
laptop.
what you're talking about, Luke. I'm gonna have
It's
to hear.
usually just schoolwork, and that's about it. That's really it.
Naimur, do you want to pull it up?
I'm excited to know
Okay.
about my
I'm
Spotify
just,
Wrapped.
I'm just curious.
I'm curious to know my Spotify
About
Wrapped
what?
this, like how Spotify does their Spotify Unwrapped or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am too actually.
Luke, my average on my computer is 2
I don't know how to
hours.
show.
My average.
My
on
average
How do
is
you see
5
average?
hours.
I don't have.
Well, it
I
says
don't have average.
Yeah, it says my.
Oh, you
average
click
is-
on the bar that it's selected.
Oh, okay. There we go. So it's this week. It's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But again, I have been playing Xbox a lot this week. So
Scroll
that might
back.
be-
Scroll back
I
a part of
primarily use a computer for
Yeah.
school.
How do you go
I
backwards?
primarily use it just for
Oh,
school.
you select at the top with the
Yeah.
arrow keys.
Last week 6 hours and 13 minutes. Week before that 6 hours 35 minutes.
Okay.
Then 6 hours 30 minutes.
Yeah, I primarily.
So I
just
do
it for
use my
school.
computer far
Yeah,
more
I just
often
use
than
mine
I
for school,
do.
too. So that makes
Yeah.
sense. If we add Luke's up, you said
Yeah.
you had. So he spends 8 hours doing stuff. I spend about 12 hours daily, on average, doing
On your
stuff. On
Which is
YouTube.
funny because I'm taking more credit hours than you are.
Yeah, but the issue is I just procrastinate a lot more than you do. You've seen me lie in bed for an
That's
entire
not true.
day.
That's not even.
You've seen me
true,
lie
though.
in bed for an entire
do
day
that, too.
watching only Twitch.
I do
Yeah,
that
but-
too, though.
yeah,
I do that.
but-
Like, on Mondays I don't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
Ladies,
it's just
ladies, you're both pretty.
yeah, we are. We're both. Yeah, I think we need to start.
You want to? Why don't we just make it even 2
Yeah.
hours and just stop it?
Because that's a
Why
lot to
not?
edit, and it won't be an even 2 hours when I edit it
A
down.
lot to edit, bro. Okay, it's gonna be like an hour and 50 minutes, 55 maybe. I don't think there's as much to cut out in this one as there usually is.
Okay, well, what
And that's
else?
why
do we
this
have
is
to
our
talk
first
about?
trial.
Let's see.
Let's just talk about everything, baby. Let's talk about our passions, unfiltered, so that Nazi Daniel can't stop us from talking about it. Like, guys, they're not gonna be interested.
I wanted to talk about how I'm really passionate just for stories.
Mm-hmm.
I really love.
Like just in general, or
stories,
just like in a
learning.
medium.
No, just in general, like video games, movies, books, TV shows, even music. If music has a story in it, I love it.
Oh my god, I have something to talk about.
Oh, I have a question about that though. Okay, we're gonna get to Luke's
Wait,
thing.
I have
but
something
a
to talk
question
about,
you
and then
after that.
I just remembered something.
Yeah, Dana, what were you? Or Naimur, what were you
go,
gonna say?
Well, Daniel, go
Does it
first,
sound kind
'cause
of
I'm gonna
related?
ask you all
Okay.
a question.
No,
about
it's
it.
not related at all. You guys talk.
Okay, well, I'll just talk. Okay, so do you guys listen to music for the lyrics or for the beat / rhythm / just instruments and stuff?
Combination of both.
The beat. I think the beat.
For me, it's
The
both.
beat. I think I'm the beat too, because I always
Mostly the beat.
I always look at the
Yeah.
lyrics like last. Like when I like a song, like when
Yeah,
I start
same.
liking the rhythm and
Yeah.
the beat, I'm like okay, and then I actually listen to the lyrics later.
Mm-hmm.
But rarely am I like, wow, that is some good lyrics, like on the spot. I never have said that in my life.
It's not so much that
Wow,
I
that
listen to the
dude's spitting.
lyrics.
I have said that before. Like I have noticed that before, but it's not a priority for me. Because usually I only listen to music with lyrics in it in the car. And even then, it's only when I'm driving other people.
Yeah, because then
Well, I don't
otherwise
even
I'm not going to be
you listen
listening to the
podcasts.
music.
Right.
Oh.
Otherwise,
that's
listen to
interesting.
podcasts, or if I'm just listening to music in my house, I'll listen to classical music or film scores too. Yeah,
I don't
Naimur,
do
what were you
that.
gonna say?
Well, I just like, for me, it's like whenever someone puts a song on my face, if I genuinely like truly love the song, like I'll know within like the first 30 seconds if I like the song.
Yeah.
Or not. Like it's just the beat.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's just like, this is really good. Like I like this. Like I want to know the song, right? And it's just like when I try to force myself to like a song, very rarely do I actually end up liking that song. It's only worked a few times. Like I
Yeah.
think Frank Ocean's Nights, that song, I didn't like it at first for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's partially just because of the beginning. If a song just does not have a beginning that I gel with, it's really hard for me to like the rest of the song.
Yeah. Naimur
But
actually.
if the hook / chorus are really good, then it's pretty good.
This explains why Naimur always skips through songs after 5 seconds of them playing. In his car,
Yeah,
he'll like
I'm
have
so ADD
he'll be
when it comes to
listening
that.
to a song for 5 seconds and then he'll skip, and then 5 seconds and then skip, and then 5 seconds and then skip, and then he'll just skip 10 songs in a row, and then
Well, I think that's just my short attention span. It's like, oh, I'll listen to the song for 40 seconds because that's as good as it. Or like, yeah, I heard the good part.
and then you get it,
Skip.
and then you're like, okay, moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. I think like
I
TikTok just
wanted to
helps that.
finish the thought.
Yeah,
It
Luke
fixes
was
it, or it makes it worse.
I wanted to finish the thought that I was gonna
Yeah, sorry.
go into detail about, but I really love stories in any medium, and I'm really, really enjoying creating a story right
Yeah,
now. Even if it's
writing.
piggybacking off of another story,
That's
I
fine.
really love, making this character who has his own story, or
he's actually
like has
writing
his own
a
issues to
fan
deal with.
fiction. No. Lots of
It's
smut.
it's only smut. It's only pornography. But yeah, I'm writing a character right now who I think, not so far, but has the potential to be really 3-dimensional and has the potential to be a detailed character.
Yeah.
And Daniel knows I've really talked about, or I talked about with him, this character's development and story that I want him to go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I'm excited to
Yeah,
see
I
what
think
Luke
that-
does.
Yeah, I really like it right now.
No, I think it's
yeah,
important.
I've always
I think
wanted to.
especially
That's it.
I think especially with early writing, right? It's really just you have to do it, man. Like for me, the thing I lack,
Yeah.
is I just lack the motivation to do it. Because
Motivation.
I think the true thing about writing is, like, everybody sucks early on. Usually, most people suck early on.
Yeah.
And
Some people are prodigies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you know the entire story structure, just know everything about filmmaking, storytelling, narratives.
You still need to put it to paper, basically.
Yeah, but like even then,
Yeah.
it sucks, right? Because you're just making stuff off the fly. I think with just trial, just doing it will make it better overall, right? So I think like with you, it's really important that
Yeah.
you are doing this. Like even if let's say
Yeah.
you show us a story and we don't necessarily like it, you still did it, and then that will be like, okay, what
That's
was
true,
wrong with
yeah.
this story, and I can apply it to this one, and then it like becomes second nature, right? It's like it's kind of weird. Like I liken it to coding. I think Daniel will understand this more, obviously compared to Luke. Is that like with coding, especially early on when you have no experience in terms of programming, like when they teach you these things about like syntaxes and terms and what you need to write down, like why do I need to write it this way? Well, you just do, right? It's like oh, why do I have to write this certain thing for this symbol? It's like, well, it just you have to.
It's just the way you have to end every line of code with a semicolon. Why? We'll talk about it later.
I just wanted to say that Naimur is singling out Daniel in this, not because he thinks I'm stupid, but because those two guys are more into math and science.
Well, it's because Daniel's taken computer
coding.
programming.
Yeah.
We took comp sci.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying, Luke. He wasn't.
That's what I was
going
to say. Yeah.
No.
And I'm more of a social science guy.
Yeah. Well, Luke also just hasn't taken comp sci before, so that's the reason why.
Which is that's the reason. I was just kind of
he wanted to make sure the audience didn't misconstrue
because that's the reason I
what
haven't taken a
what
computer
Naimur
science
was
class.
saying.
Yeah. So
you learn the basics,
so it's just like,
but you don't understand why.
You learn the basics, but it doesn't feel right when you're doing it. You know, it's like when you're writing, you're just like it feels clunky. You're just like, oh, I have to write this when I'm doing that. But then as soon as you start doing it for a while, then that medium in which you're learning these like mechanisms and these syntaxes and terms, like the way you're writing them, becomes second nature. Yeah. And then that's when it truly the door opens, because I think of it as a way of like for both writing and programming is that it's a tool. Writing is a tool, right? And just the method in which you write, you have to learn that. But then once you do learn that, you're basically minimizing or the importance of the medium in terms of getting your thoughts on the paper, if that makes sense, right? In programming,
you're minimizing
the
limitations of the medium.
Yeah,
kind
of, or it's just like you're like minimizing the barrier from your thoughts to the idea or to the conception.
That's what I mean,
right? So it's like as soon as you start, like you don't necessarily have to be caught up in like how do I start this? Like do I write with do I start this word? Do I start that? No, it's like I just know what to write and I just start writing it. Or it's like with programming, it's like, oh my god, this is a simple problem. Just do that and that. Okay, let me just transcript that because it's so easy to do that. You don't have to be like, oh, how do I start this program? How do I start that?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean,
I just think that's really important with trial and error. Or just trial.
Excited.
It doesn't necessarily just have to be error.
I'm excited to see what Luke's story comes out to.
Yeah.
I had one more thing that we can finish on. Do you guys want to finish on this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends what the topic is. But
Is it number 3 on the list you sent us?
You guys are never gonna believe it. I want you to take a guess what happened this week.
Let me look at the topic list.
It's not on the topic list.
You got hit by a bus.
Ingrown Toenail Part 2.
No,
don't.
Yes.
I watched the first season of The Expanse.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not going to understand that.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're not going to... The audience isn't going to understand the cultural impact that that has.
That makes me so happy.
I didn't like it.
Do you like it?
I know.
Let's provide some context to this. Here's
the context. Luke has been wanting me to watch this for...
Yeah, go ahead.
Luke has been wanting me to watch this
but
for
the thing is, we talked about this in previous podcasts many times because I've always recommended shows to Luke. But the thing is, Luke will never watch them until Daniel watches The Expanse.
Well, that's his excuse. I'm not going to watch it until Daniel watches The Expanse. And I was like, I'll get to it eventually, is what I always say.
Daniel always puts stuff off. He puts stuff off constantly.
He's
so lazy when it comes to watching shows.
All the time.
Yeah, honestly.
But then he'll like the shows and then continue watching them. Like, it's not a matter of fact that he doesn't have the time. It's that he has the time, but he just never doesn't want to get around to it. And so, like, he hasn't finished Game of Thrones. He hasn't finished a bunch of these shows that I've recommended to him.
Yeah.
I really wanted Luke to watch The Boys because I think he'll love The Boys. But he wouldn't watch it because he was mad at Daniel.
I'm watching The Boys now, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So now we can watch it. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, anyways,
no longer a fat, lazy piece of shit.
Here's the thing. Here's the final thing. It's like I knew I was gonna have to get it out of the way eventually, and I watched it, and I think I'm probably gonna talk to Luke about it now because I don't want to go on a tangent about why I didn't necessarily like it right now because I don't think the audience will care that much. But yeah, I watched it. I watched the whole first season too. I didn't just stop at the first episode. I'm proud of myself. I did something for once. Oh my god, man.
That is funny that you didn't like it because when you said, "Oh, I watched the whole season," like, "Oh, he enjoyed it."
I think.
It's like, oh no.
I think my overall complaint would just be I feel like it's probably just a way better story as a book than it is as a TV show.
It is.
It feels like a
opinion,
TV show that's been adapted from a book. You know?
Yeah. No, it is. It's
I know
way
it
better.
is, and
That's the interesting thing about Queen's Gambit, which I'm only on
It's
episode
adapted from a
3 now.
novel,
Like,
right?
yeah, but like I
Yeah.
remember my brother was like, "Is this a true story?" Because
I asked that too. I was like, "Is this a true
Oh yeah.
story?"
No, it's such a good story. Like, there's no way it can't be a true story.
It feels,
You know.
yeah, it feels so like real.
It feels so. Yeah, it feels so like the main character. Is
Let's not
such,
spoil
like,
anything. But
so
it's-
well written.
It's a good show.
And no, I'm just
Yeah.
saying she's so well written, and her development is so well done.
Her journey,
There's
everything.
no way
what
it
we're
can't be real.
what we're
right?
saying is,
Yeah.
if you haven't watched The Queen's Gambit, please go on
Yeah.
Netflix and watch it now, or
Yeah.
bootleg it. You wouldn't download a car, but you should download The Queen's Gambit.
The Queen's Gambit.
You wouldn't download a car, would you? Hell yeah, I would.
I mean,
What are
I
you
would if
talking
I
about?
could. I don't know what they're talking about.
Download a car,
That'd
bro.
be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell?
Download a
Man.
car. That'd be so easy. But yeah, it's
That'd be so cool.
We're reading.
I also get lazy. Like I was trying to watch Queen's Gambit, and I just
Yeah.
haven't watched it since episode 2.
Wait,
But it makes
Yeah.
chess so intense.
sense.
Have
It's
you
so
not
interesting.
finished it?
I don't know. No, I'm still on episode 3. But
Oh.
I'll
Here's
continue
my-
watching it.
Dana, when did you finish it? I remember you
Um,
started it,
like
but
earlier last Luke. When I started it, I finished it within 3 days. Like 3
Also,
or 4
Daniel,
days.
I recommend you watch
I-
Atlanta. I really heavily
know.
recommend you watch Atlanta.
I know it's on my list.
I recommend it to
Atlanta's really
everybody. I recommend it to everybody.
My-
and
I want to go back to the Queen's Gambit really quickly. My
Yeah.
one
Good.
complaint, and maybe it's not really a spoiler. It's just kind of like something that it's a theme. I don't appreciate the struggle against alcoholism and addiction, especially when they repeat it through every single episode. It gets old to me. That's my one complaint. Because at the
It's
first
just
time I'm
yeah,
like,
that
Daniel
makes
okay, I
doesn't
get it.
care
The
if
second
you have
time I'm like,
addiction.
okay, this is the same conflict, and the same result is she's gonna have to get over it. Okay, it's the same conflict, same result, she's gonna have to get over it, and it's just like,
You know what's also a similar conflict? Addiction. This happens to a lot of different people, Daniel.
I know it
Oh my
does.
god, I'm still
Yeah, Daniel,
addicted.
come on, dude.
I
What
still
the hell?
need to do this. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not. Obviously, it makes it more realistic that it keeps becoming a problem. I don't know. I found it like repetitive.
Daniel, if you ever
That's
get
the only
addicted to
thing that.
something, I'll just be like,
There
"Alright,
was
this is a
one.
similar
There was
conflict
one
that I'm dealing
episode
with."
where I was like, I was just upset that this is the way the story was going because I was like, I just hate that the character is doing this. So maybe the story is actually
at the
good
end-
because it made me feel that way. It made me feel like, oh my god, I hate that this is what's happening to the character. So you know.
Personally, at the end of
Yeah.
the first episode, when she like goes for that bag or that ginormous jar
Spoilers.
of tranquilizers, it's not that big of a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's in the first episode. At the end, it's
Yeah.
just like, dude, it's like, what is this? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a little dramatic. but I
That's when
understand
I
the whole
knew.
point,
That's
like,
when I
it
knew
makes
it wasn't a real based on a real. Or that's kind of when I figured out this can't be necessarily based on a real story.
Well, I also
see, I consider that to be believable because she's a kid,
Yeah.
right? She wouldn't really know the negative effects that stuff would have on her,
So
right?
why
No,
would
I
they give
know, but-
She might know-
freaking,
she
like,
knows- she
elementary
knows that it-
schoolers? I don't understand.
This was the 50s, dude. No one gave a shit.
Ketamine? Like,
That's
are you
the thing.
serious?
Yeah, but I mean, she's a kid. She doesn't know how bad this stuff is for her body, or how bad it is for
Well, I
her
know
psyche,
that.
right?
It's not even
just-
the
so
body,
she just
it's
knows-
the fact
she just knows that
took,
it makes
eight
her
at
feel
once. She takes 8 at once on a normal time.
No, she just knows that it makes her feel good, so she wants to have more of it.
No,
No, but she
which
does
is an
so many
addiction,
at
right?
once.
But-
look, I'm not saying that.
But she
I think
doesn't know how bad it would be.
I think
and
how-
she has the whole bowl, so like
how
why doesn't-
dramatized
why not just
it
take-
was. I think that's what it was, where it's like
Yeah,
this like
that makes sense,
breaking
yeah.
in and like trying to do it secretly, and then suddenly like crawling over and like it's like a spy movie, and then like getting the jar, and
Mm-hmm.
then perfectly timed where as she turns around after taking handfuls, it's just like that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, where it's like I could tell at that.
I'm
point.
just talking about the act itself, where
Yeah.
she broke into
No,
the
it makes sense
where she
that that
broke
would
into
happen.
the pharmacy in the orphanage and then ate all the things.
Yeah.
So
I guess what we should say is anyone who hasn't watched it, go watch it. It's great. It makes like
Yeah,
even if you've
it really
never
is.
seen chess before, even if you've never like played it, don't understand it, you literally don't have to. It's all just about like drama. It's much more of a
Apparently, chess sales nationwide
human story, I
have
think.
increased because of Queen's Gambit.
chess
Pretty
sales.
interesting.
A lot of
That's
a
not a
lot of people are
surprise at
going
all.
back to play chess. Like they just want to learn
I still don't know how
chess
chess
again.
works. You could not teach me chess. It is so confusing to me. I remember.
I don't think I
It's
think
not
I could
really.
probably
It's
teach
not.
you chess.
I
think
don't
I
think
could
it's that
probably teach
confusing.
you.
I still don't know
Yeah.
how to play checkers. Everybody's
not
like,
that
"Oh my
confusing.
god, checkers is so easy. You just do this and then
You
5
don't know
minutes
how to
later,
play
I'm like,
checkers,
I literally don't know
bro?
what you just said.
You just move diagonally. You literally just move diagonally. And if you go
Like, does it
over
matter
another
why you
player's
move
piece,
diagonally?
Huh?
no. I
Okay, let's play checkers the next time we meet in person.
Okay.
I
And we
think.
can teach you
should
how
do that.
chess works too,
Fine.
maybe. Luke and I love playing
Oops.
chess. Or
Yeah,
I would like to
and
play
I
love
won't
stalemating
speak for
you.
Luke, but I enjoy playing chess every once in a while.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't play it on my I wouldn't play
As
it
some-
on a computer. I would play it against you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't like just going on a
You know
random
what's a good
computer.
game I like playing? Among Us, because it requires no skill. It's pretty easy.
I wouldn't say it
Or you know
requires
what
no
else I like
skill.
playing?
If you have some level of skill, you can actually get really good at the game.
I mean, half the
if
time
you're playing,
I play it as
if
a
you're playing
joke.
with other people,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
MLG
if
Among
you're playing
Us.
with other
Could you
people, it
imagine
requires
that?
skill. If it's
We
just
should-
if it's just like in anonymous servers, then it doesn't really.
We should
require
just
that
start
much skill.
producing Among Us content. That'll get us instantly famous.
How
Yeah.
how do we
We don't have enough
screen
people.
record that stuff? Oh, we also don't have that too. I mean, we can always find people. It's not that difficult.
Sure.
Naimur, I think he was just kidding.
I was only
That
half
like-
yeah,
kidding,
so
Luke.
he's
It was
just
only a half joke. I do want to eventually someday.
It's okay, but you know what? We're
Dive
gonna do
into
that. We'll never get a lot of
producing,
Minecraft playthroughs. Let's
Mhm.
plays.
Or we could do a Minecraft server.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could have
Mhm.
Luke play Cyberpunk 2077, and then
And
I
we
could play with
backseat
him.
game.
Could do that.
Backseat game. Yeah, we could do that. GTA.
Mhm.
Luke always loved to to
Mhm.
play my GTA. I feel like that's the only reason he would come to my house for a latter part of our middle school.
Yeah,
the only
because I
reason
never had
we are
GTA.
friends still is because
My parents
Luke
would never
wanted
let
to
me
play
have GTA.
5.
Yeah, at my house. He would always.
My parents never had GTA.
The
Or
first
they
time-
would never let me get GTA.
I remember Luke looking at little 6th grade Luke at my house. He would always come up to me, his eyes twitching like he was looking for a hit. Can I play the GTA 5? I'm like, sure, Luke, go ahead.
It was an addiction.
He-
It really was.
And then I give him
It really was.
the game, like, you know, back when discs were a thing, and then he puts it straight into the disc, and then he waits the loading screen. He stares for the entire time at the loading screen. That takes like 20 minutes to load, and then
It was just because of the hot girl in the bikini, for the record. I don't actually like looking at the loading screens of games, but it was just the hot girl in the bikini. That's
No,
all I
that's
wanted to
not
say.
why. Anyway.
I just wanted to clarify
and
that.
then
I just wanted to clarify
and
that.
then he
That's why
looks
he
up
likes
cheat
games.
codes on Thigh phone of GTA, gets rocket launcher, goes. To
Yeah, he didn't
daycare,
actually enjoy playing the
blows it
game.
up.
He
No,
he always used cheat codes because he wasn't any good at the game. So he
No,
really
but,
just
no, but that's the
enjoyed-
whole point. You get the
Yeah.
cheat codes, and you get all the weapons, and then you know, like, I'd see Luke. I remember once my friend,
Mhm.
like, I was playing with, like, he was playing at my house because I have a lot of friends that just, I guess their parents love them and, like, you know, actually monitored their video game playing. So I'm kidding, my parents love me, but you
No,
know,
but your parents did monitor it. You just fooled them.
yeah, I lied. I said it was a racing
He
game.
said it was a racing game, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, they see the cars driving. You know, it's what it is.
Is this boob on cover? No. Oh, it's just a racing game. Okay.
Yeah, and so
Mm-hmm.
my friend came. We were playing the story for a while, and then I remember we were playing for like 3 hours or something. And then I remember one instance, as soon as he finished the mission, he got his sniper out, and just shot a random dog in plain sight. I'm like, okay, we're turning off this game. We're not gonna play for the rest
Oh
of the
my
day.
God.
We're done. I don't want to play this game anymore. We're good. Why did you do that? Let's not do that anymore. Just turn it off. We're done.
Well, I think that's
I
a
think we
good.
played enough for today.
Speaking
I
of,
think that's a good natural stopping point.
I was gonna say that's a perfect natural stopping point for the podcast. That's what you guys get to leave on.
It was not Luke who did that. It was somebody else. I'm
Yeah,
just
it was
like,
another
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, if we had any audio issues, please forgive us. If we're talking over each other, please forgive us.
Yeah.
We're doing it over Discord to be safe, and so it's kind of there is
even though Luke and Daniel are roommates, so
even though we are roommates, but there's
Well,
some
we're not
lag.
together right now.
No, but
Yeah.
he's just saying, like I said, to be safe, despite the fact that you and I are.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I mean,
forgive
you meant
us.
safe
First
as in
time trying to like
coronavirus.
edit.
Okay.
I mean, not the first time trying to edit. I've edited multiple of these together, but first time,
Yeah.
first time posting this.
also if
we're still
you
working
if you
on
hear Luke talking or if you hear me peeking, I'm sorry, I might peek. I don't know. I've like turned down the decibels by a lot. But I don't
Again,
know.
yeah. There's going to be
But,
audio issues. We're going to try and work them out over the next few podcasts.
Also, if you hear a certain like thumping or something sound every time Luke like said something, that's just because it's his natural tick. So
Yeah.
you know,
I just
like,
have a tick. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't
I
be.
think it's because I was saying earlier, I get stressed out when I'm not alone, for periods of time.
Exactly.
I think that's why.
So yeah, just don't be alarmed if you hear
Yeah.
that in the thing. And also, we will talk about politics every now and then. We're gonna try and minimize it a lot more, especially with the election over. Does that mean we should not talk about politics ever? Obviously not, but we're gonna try and minimize the polarization of it. So if you do have a point of view that go against ours in any way, just know we don't necessarily like. Just don't get mad at us first.
Yeah, we won't be talking about that.
We're not going to dislike you for that.
Yeah, we're not necessarily going to dislike you, but we also want to hear what you have to say too. Like if you're generally like have a disagreement, just be civil about it. Let us know in the comments or something, right? And we'll look into it. We'll talk about it maybe on the next podcast.
Or
Not that anybody's going to watch this early on. Yeah, if you're a friend of ours too, especially. But we're naturally going to come to a disagreement about anything. So let's just find a common ground. We're obviously freshmen in high school or in college. We don't know everything about politics.
Guys, we are actually 15 years old.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
Yeah.
Just instead of getting angry, just listen, look back and reflect. And so I guess it's the end of the podcast.
First
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Episode of the Heavily Altered Podcast.
Woo! Yeah, this is on this is on Spotify and hopefully YouTube, right? Or it's hopefully on Spotify.
YouTube, maybe even iTunes, maybe even... or Apple Music, whatever it is, and
maybe on my grandmother's toaster,
possibly
maybe on Joe Biden's,
all of the other platforms.
Maybe the
we'll
hub.
See.
Who knows?
Maybe the hub. All right. Bye.